What's up, DJ? What's up? What's up? What's up to all our people? I hope there's no connection issue because I see some of our people popping in, popping out. I'm not having any. Is anybody in the space having any connection issues, guys? Because I'm not having any issues, anything like that. You said Wi-Fi.
There you go. But DJ is sounding off over here on my end.
Yeah, DJ, you sounded look like you were kind of coming in and coming out a little bit. Am I sounding okay to you? No taxation?
Yeah, you sound loud and clear.
Okay. All right, family. What's up?
Sister No Tax. What's up?
Hey, Professor. I see all the peoples have showed up to tell us how they can't stand us. So I came in early this time, so I got to listen to see what they're talking about. They already giving me a thumbs up to tell us how much they hate us. I don't think that's what this space is going to be about, because we don't do hate over here on Newstoter Spaces. That's something we don't do. We also don't argue and holler and talk over each other. So it's going to be a respectable conversation, I'm quite sure, because y'all ain't never seen nothing like this before. You've been over there hanging with them other folks. And these are some different type of people over here. So I'm glad they came so they could see another side of us. I'm going to leave it there.
Yes, ma'am. And the title here on if you guys on Twitter, you see where it says Black people hating on immigrants with a question mark. If you're on YouTube, you'll see where it says Communist leader Bob Avakian claims Black people are hating on immigrants. I'm going to go ahead and touch up on that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and just share that article. I'm glad I got you up here, No Taxation, so you can jump in, Professor, DJ. Let me read this real quick. It is very, very short article. I'm going to read it real quick. Let me know I'm on the actual site. Can you guys hear me before I start reading?
Yeah, you good. You good.
Okay, the article is titled Black People Hating on Immigrants, Nonsense from People Who Should Know Better. Real quick, it says, as Trump incites Black people against immigrants, Bob Avakian possesses a sharp challenge to those Black people who are hating on immigrants. Do you really want to be like the rabid white racists? In his social media dispatch number 73, the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian said, one of the most maddening and heartbreaking things these days is to hear Black people who have suffered so terribly under this system hating on immigrants, talking about how immigrants are supposedly taking jobs and resources that should go to Black people and ruining neighborhoods where Black people have lived for generations. He goes on, when I hear this, I can't help thinking about what happened to the mass migration of Black people from the South. Took place beginning after World War I a century ago. Coming into cities in the North, Black people were repeatedly and viciously attacked by racist white mobs, claiming that Black people were taking jobs from white people, that Black people were ruining the cities, just refusing to stay in their place. Then he poses the question to any Black people today who are caught up in hating on immigrants, do you really want to be like the rabid white racists, or do you want to put an end to this madness that you and the immigrants are being put through? Everywhere the RevComs have taken the message on the South Side of Chicago and on social media has stirred up controversy and debate. If you're hating on immigrants, you're getting played. Immigrants are not the reason Black people are suffering in Chicago. It's a system that has been exploited and terrorized Black people for hundreds of years. It's the same system that has destroyed the homelands of people all over the world, from Haiti to Venezuela to Gaza. We don't have an immigration problem. We have a capitalism, imperialism problem. Carl Dix, longtime revolutionary communist and follower of Bob, said revolution is more possible now than it's been in generations. Instead of fighting for crumbs and competing over who gets to scrap the bottom of the barrel, Black people need to come together with immigrants and rise up to overthrow this whole system. Leo Pargo, who grew up on the South Side of Chicago and now works in the RevCom Corp, said, someone said I'm a traitor to Black people because I'm calling out all this anti-immigrant nonsense. No, I am a revolutionary and emancipator of humanity, and you should be a tool. These MAGA fascists want to get rid of all of us. Quit falling for this system divide and conquer scheme and join the revolution. About Rafael Carlos Dix, and Leo Pargo. Leo Pargo is a RevComs for the Emancipation of Humanity in Chicago. He grew up on the South Side of Chicago and got involved with RevComs after the police murdered Laquan McDonald. He is now a revolutionary internationalist fighting to end all forms of oppression all over the world and was recently arrested while protesting to stop the U.S.-backed genocide in Gaza. Rafael Kadaris is a revolutionary communist, a correspondent with the RNL show, and a follower of the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian. He's been fighting against U.S. imperialist wars, murdered by police, attacks on immigrants since the early 2000s. He is known for his verbal sparring, taking on MAGA fascists, Democrats, wokesters, and phony socialists. Last year, he and other RevComs made international news, burning the U.S. flag at a fascist country singer Jason Aldean's concert in Chicago. Carl Dix is a representative of the RevComs Corps for the Emancipation of Humanity and a follower of Bob Avakian. In 1970, he was one of the Fort Lewis six U.S. soldiers who refused orders to go to Vietnam. In 2011, he co-founded with Dr. Carnell West Stop the Mass Incarceration Network, initiated a civil disobedience campaign to stop and frisk. So this is where we're at today. I hope you guys are able to hear me loud and clear. I see we got somebody requesting to come up here and speak. So let me go ahead and oh shoot, you're the Negro that be running your mouth. You was running your mouth all last time. What's your name again? Lusophia? Yeah, you was yeah. Shut your pie hole, boy. You came up in here and you was whining and crying like a little girl last time. Sat up here, left because I guess you couldn't get all the attention you wanted to, and then started putting little remarks in the comment section. You was butthurt, you was crying and whatnot. Gave you the microphone, and because it wasn't all that what you wanted to say in there, you was up here crying like a little sissy. Now, don't come up in here. Don't come up in here with your feelings hurt. Don't come up here and make us have to lift your skirt up tonight. You come up here and act like you got some sense. I'm pretty sure you're gonna go up there crying in the comment sections like last time. You go ahead and you go ahead and you make sure that you got your depends on nice and snug tonight, okay? Now you come up in here because I know you got a slick little mouth on you. I'm ready for you tonight. Yeah. I know it is. Shut your pie hole till I tell you. Now you're gonna do it the way I say you're gonna do it, or you can haul ass. You're gonna come up in here being disrespectful. We tried to show you respect last time and you cried like a complete biatch. That's right. Disconnect. Come up in here. I just saw the name. This Negro came up in here. I don't know how many times he talked last time, and then he started whining, talking about how we like Negro. You can come up here and talk, but because you couldn't hog the microphone and speak on all your points and everything else, you got mad. That's right. Go run up out of here. You know, why are you finna hear that? You finna come up here and talk like you got some sense. No, not one time were you interrupted last time. Anybody cut you off, and then you came in here crying and whining and throwing a hissy fit. Get out of here. One of these smart mouth Negroes right here. And then you want to hide underneath a banner B1. You ain't B1. You're a punk. Go ahead, no taxation. You got it, sweetie.
Hey, I told them in the beginning, this is not what they think it's going to be. Because you don't run your spaces like that. That's why people come over here, because there's a level of intelligentsia that you have to be able to have any conversation on a Newstoter space, and that's just true tea. And if you can't level up, then you can't hang. That's why he got up out of here. His name is Lucifer. Okay, that's what he calls himself. He's been blocked by me for years, ever since he got on Twitter. But anyway, black people hating on immigrants. That what you read about that guy? He's a communist, right? And he's working
yes, ma'am.
And Carl Dix is a communist as well. I wish I had known he was going to bring that out. I would have asked him to come into the space, and I still might try to, get him on the back end and have him come in here. Here's what people are not getting, which is very important. And it was mentioned in a space today with Gerald Sanders. I was in there for a hot minute listening to her, and someone brought it up that it was 68 or some odd quadrillion dollars that the American government has missed due to racism and keeping us locked out of the economic system. And that guy right there that wrote that thing, Bob, whatever his name is, what he's doing is trying to capitalize off all the work that you all have done to push the reparations movement forward. All of a sudden, here he comes. Here's what these people don't get. Reparations for Black Americans, us, FBA, Negro, ADOS, Freedmen, all of us, just us. What they don't understand is reparations in this country, repair in this country for us, that's going to eliminate a whole lot of problems that white folks have and Black folks have. The reason they say a rising tide lifts all boats is because we're the rising tide lifting all the boats. If they don't lift us up, they're going to sink. It's sinking now. We see it. And we're at the point where we're going to let it fall. That man that wrote that stuff, he knows nothing about us. He knows nothing about our plight. He knows nothing about our journey. He knows nothing about our ancestral or DNA epigenetic trauma that we carry every day. He knows nothing about that because he's not like us. And for anybody to comment on anything that has to do with us and they are not a part of us, then that's a violation. If you all see those signs, because they're not around here by me, but if you all see those signs that he has posted up, tear them down. Or get a big red marker and just mark all over it. Or put one of those circles with with the sign going across. Mess up his shit if you see it. Oh, excuse me, Newstoter. Mess his stuff up if you see it. Okay? Because that's the only way we're going to let him know. Don't come over here. Don't come over here messing with us. We too close. We're too close even though we're not getting anything in 2025. How about that? My guess is they'll do something behind closed doors, but that's just me. I'm going to leave it there.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. No taxation. And I sent a couple invites. We got a couple of the fam up in here that's look like they may be Haitian and stuff like that. So you guys, I want you to feel free to come up here. You just raise your hand. You can speak. You won't be cut off or anything like that. We'll let you speak. The other individual that was in here last time, he spoke in here. Nobody cut him off. Everybody was polite to him. Then he leaves and he starts trashing everything and this and that because he couldn't sit up there and he couldn't talk about Kamala Harris. I think it was a discussion about Kamala Harris. We couldn't go back 12 generations tracing her actual family, DNA and heritage and lineage. And because we couldn't do that, we was a bunch of punks and all this other kind of stuff. So when he came up in here, I had forgot who he was till I saw him up in here. So yeah, but Z.I.Zo and Taylor Lover, if you guys want to speak, and I do want to hear the perspective too, also, from Black immigrants as well too. So feel free to come up in here. You won't be cut off. Me nor the co-host. The co-host, I'm gonna let you guys know when somebody's speaking, do not cut them off. Don't come off your mic. Same with the speakers in here as well too, because I want to hear perspectives. I want to hear what people think about it as well too. And as a matter of fact, Zo, while I got you up here, I know you were in here when I read that article. What's your thoughts about that article that I read about Bob Avakian saying that basically, it's time for Black people to join the immigrants and join up and pretty much to rise up and take power away as well too. And basically Black people are just fighting for scraps. And it's no different that the anti-sentiment that he says that you're seeing from certain Black Americans throughout the country is similar to what happened during the Great Migration from the South to the North. Are you in agreement? I mean, exactly. Tell me how you feel about it. I know you don't have your hand raised, but I kind of wanted, to get your perspective because I did invite you and you came up and you accepted this. You actually requested to speak as well too. So I'd be, interested to hear how you guys feel and what you got to say about that.
I appreciate for letting me get on the live. I'm gonna definitely give my perspective about certain things, especially with immigration, especially with the time and age that's going on right now in America. Well, first and foremost, I just want to say, collectively, I feel like we shouldn't even have anything towards immigration. It's really not their fault. A lot of the things that they're running away from are from U.S. policies that has destabilized their country. So really, the hate that's going towards certain groups of people is really unwarranted. There's more that I do want to say, but I'll just wait till the conversation progresses, because I do have some points that I would like to bring out. But I'll just say that for now.
Okay. Well, thank you. Like you say, yeah, I want to get, we have our usuals in here too, but I want to hear the perspective of people, that are immigrants, whether you be a black immigrant or you're a white immigrant, a Latino immigrant, or whatever. I want to hear the perspective of what other immigrants have to say as well too. Now, let me just ask you this real quick. Do you feel like the black community, do you feel like black people actually hating on immigrants, or you think that title is a little bit strong that they're putting on there?
First of all, that's nothing new. If anyone here is from Florida,
I'm from Florida.
Okay. What part of Florida are you from?
I grew up in I was born in North Florida, and I grew up in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, cool. Perfect. All right, I'm moving. So at one point in America, at least in South Florida, all the Haitians were getting heat. At some point. Like when I was younger, like we could even like we were the scapegoat for everything, and even Africans will get bullied, beat, thrown to the dirt. At one point, there was Haitian Friday. You see a Haitian, beat a Haitian, all types of stuff like that. So, like I said, none of this is new. None of this is new at all. It's just now that it's resurfacing because of all the policies and immigration stuff that's going on. But literally, none of this is new at all.
Now, you would have to say, and I lived in Florida, and I know and I know that Haitians were the butt of jokes. A lot of people were the butt of jokes as well too. Black Americans fought with other Black Americans, and they were the butt of jokes. You also had a day they called Cracker Day as well too. But would you say, for the most part, that most Black Americans, because let's be for real now, when we think about Black Americans outnumber, and this is another thing that people think, that there are actually more Caribbeans in Florida than actual Black Americans, which I definitely don't agree with that. There's more Caribbeans in South Florida or Miami in particular, but throughout the entire state of Florida, Black Americans outnumber Caribbeans, especially when you're talking about when I first started hearing about Caribbeans, moving from North Florida to South Florida. You talk about in the mid 80s when I was in elementary school. I didn't know what a Jamaican was. I didn't know what a Haitian was, a Bahamian, none of that, because I was a little kid. The only thing I knew was black, white, and Chinese. And in Fort Lauderdale, we didn't have the number of Haitians that Miami had, but we were close. And yeah, Haitian kids got picked at. They got picked at for the way they dressed. They got picked at for things like that as well too. But the vast majority of kids at school wasn't jumping Haitians, weren't beating up Haitians. We didn't have a Haitian hit a Haitian in Fort Lauderdale at the schools I was at. The vast majority of Haitians and stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, if we're going to be honest about it, you guys, started kind of accepting the hip hop culture, Black culture, and you guys started to actually blend in and everything else like that as well too. And I'll say even the Fugees had a big part in that of actual, Haitians and stuff kind of being accepted more and more and more. But I don't ever remember, for the most part, 20, 30 Black kids chasing Haitians and stuff, chasing Haitians, beating Haitians, because let's be for real, we outnumbered y'all. And at any time, if we wanted to go ahead and take you, we could have took you without much resistance. So the fact of the matter that, people saying that, it was just Black people attacking, because most grown-ups weren't jumping on and beating on Haitian people. Most kids weren't jumping on Haitian kids. Most Haitians started copying the slang, the dress, the culture, the music, and everything that Black Americans had as well too. So, I can't sit up here and say that, Black Americans were just beating on Haitians and this and that. And also, if you remember, well, it was Black Americans when Cubans were coming into Florida without any problem. It was Black Americans that was out there protesting for Haitians to actually come to this country and this state. So it was Black Americans out there when you had, I don't know if you can remember the Elian Gonzalez thing and the situation, and Black people was like, well, hold on. Y'all just sent 2 boats back of Haitians back today, but you letting a little Cuban kid come up in here. So it kind of was like the thing that you say, and that goes with Jamaicans as well too. Black Americans used to pick at Jamaicans, and Jamaicans picked at Black Americans. And Jamaicans started, even though they kind of kept their culture more so, they started listening, dressing, growing up, y'all was watching the Cosby Show and Different World, and you was watching Yo MTV Raps, and you started letting your jeans sag and this and that or whatever. So a lot of y'all was actually, were actually embracing Black American culture, and Black Americans themselves were holding you down for a long time. So yeah, there were, because I mean, let's be for real, as a Black American, I got picked at. I had braces at one time. I got picked at about having braces. If you had glasses, you got picked at. If you was fat, you got picked at. If you was Black, you got picked at. If your hair was nappy, you got picked at. If you was too skinny, you got picked at. Anything that you could think of, kids were picking at kids. That's why you always had a lot of fights in school. Somebody says something, somebody tries to walk away, they keep teasing somebody turns around and pop them in the mouth. But go ahead.
Yes, you definitely read about that. Like it wasn't like a huge majority of the like the Black population, like the Black kids, like at the schools I went to. But I will say, like, I definitely did see it. I have a twin brother who got kicked out and went to an alternative school, and those alternative schools are like ferocious. They used to do stuff like that. Now, yes, you're right. It wasn't like all the kids, and there was Black kids that would stand up and be like, "Hey, this is wrong. Like, what are you guys doing? We're all human beings." But like stuff like that, it did happen. And to point out what you said, like the Haitian kids, because we were always at the bottom of the totem pole. Like, I even got picked on, and I was even like born in Haiti, but when kids would be like, "Oh, you're Haitian," I'll be like, "Yeah," and they'll be like, "Oh, this," and like even like the what's going on right now with the cat thing, that's been going on for years. Like, they'll say, "Oh, you eat cat. Oh, you dirty. Go back to Haiti." Whatever. Even African kids, I've seen that happen to them too. But like when
now, I'm gonna be honest, and not to cut you off, but we didn't have a huge. I can't say for Miami, but for the most part of Florida, we didn't have a huge. Our thing, we had more Caribbeans than anything. We didn't have a huge African population. Like, I can't remember growing up, and Broward County, Fort Lauderdale was the second biggest county in all of Florida. We didn't have a huge African population. Now, we had a bunch of Caribbeans, we had a bunch of Bahamians, Jamaicans, and Haitians and stuff like that, but we didn't have a huge African population. So, and most of the time when people said like African booty scratcher, it was other Black Americans calling Black Americans African booty scratcher. And I remember the term HBO, Haitian body odor. I remember that as well too. People say, "Do you got HBO?" Like, yeah, I got HBO. Oh, you got Haitian body odor. So yeah, I understand that those terms was offensive, and they did strike a nerve with people as well too. But the vast majority of the kids at school weren't calling each other Haitians or this and that, whatever. But there was, like you said, there was some roasting and stuff like that going on. Some of it is kids. We know kids can be cruel as well too. So I'm not going to take that part away as well too. But in terms of whatever Black people had in this country when you guys came over, because I mean, just tracing your family history back, when you got to America, it wasn't when your people moved to America. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they moved into Black neighborhoods, right?
Yes.
So it wasn't Black people saying, "Hey, you know what? We don't want to live next to no Haitians. Y'all got to get up out of here. Y'all got to leave and this and that. We're going to chase y'all out with pitchforks and fire and stuff like that." It wasn't to that point. Whatever meager resources Black people had, be it Jamaican, be it Bahamian, be it whatever, Haitian, Black people did share with it. Now, I'm going to give you my story. My mom, and as a kid, I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't say some of the stuff that I just said as a kid. But had my mom and dad heard me say that, they would have told my tail up. My mom and dad never told me, "Hey, the look down on the Haitians or Jamaicans or this and that or whatever." Look down on, because I started telling my dad about some of this stuff that was going on online and some of the back and forth and some of the stuff. He said, "You know what? When y'all were kids, I never knew all of that stuff was going on. I never even realized that." He was grown man working in South Florida, him and my mom, and the stuff you're talking about that went on at schools, they never even knew about that kind of stuff.
It definitely did go on. Now, I will say, like a lot of the kids, like when I went to school, because right now I'm 29 now, so I'm probably like a little younger than some of you guys. But I went to I did elementary and middle school, and I did middle school in like one of the worst parts of Miami. But through the 2000 2000s, like in the middle of the 2000s. And back then, like a lot of the kids, specifically like from my point of view, the Haitian kids that I knew, they would change their name, like, you know, like a lot of the Jean Baptiste, or my name is JB, you know, like they would hide it like that, you know, change their demeanor, their swagger, you know, they used to, like, you know, the way they dressed, you know, they would try to change it up, and all the
they started changing that up in the 90s though. Like I say, when right before the Fuji started to drop, because I was in the 90s, I graduated high school in the late 90s, so they started changing that up right then and there. And like I said, a lot of that, a lot of it, you know, Wyclef and Prosner was accepted, and Lauryn Hill, you know, with the Fugees and stuff, a lot of them did a lot for, you know, in terms of, I guess, and the perception, the image that a lot of Haitian kids had and stuff like that. Like, okay, well, I see somebody up here that's similar to me and this and that or whatever. And, you know, it's kind of hard to believe that, like in the 2000s and stuff, like, because from the 90s on. Yeah, that's kind of hard to believe, like that. I mean, because Haitians, I mean, it's a lot of, especially in Miami, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a lot of, I know a lot of, it's Black American chicks and stuff that date a lot of Haitian dudes. I had cousins and stuff that love Caribbean cats and stuff like that.
Right. So, so I have an older sister and a good friend of mine of hers. They used to tell me, because my sister, she's 12 years older than me, and like I said, I went to school like back in Miami in the 2000s. So like she went to school around the same time you went. Like my sister's like 43 now. She saw and basically endured. Well, really not endured, because a lot of the women, like I guess they got shielded from that, but it was a lot of the guys who took the heat. But she saw a lot of the stuff that happened, and like our friend, he used to tell us, like, you know, all the stuff that happened. Now he's a light skinned dude from New York. But his mom is Haitian, so he never really caught a lot of heat because he was born in New York, you know, Americanized, everything like that. They didn't see him as an immigrant or anything, or parent, sibling or child of an immigrant. But they used to tell me about the stuff that happened, and as I was coming into age, even with my own eyes, I saw all the stuff that happened. So even if like the Fugees or like, you know, other artists, like, you know, made like Caribbean culture more embraceable, it still happened like during the 2000s. Now it didn't start becoming like, you know, less and less frequent until I became more into like high school. And then, you know, like as artists like Kodak Black, like as artists like them came out, then it became more acceptable after that. But in the 2000s, it was still pretty much kind of frequent. It did die down, but it was still kind of happening. But like you did say, it wasn't, you know, every kid out there just running around and like, you know, being mischievous towards immigrants.
No, it was the vast majority of kids, and like I say, and I went to school in the 90s and stuff like that. And when I was in high school, nobody was sitting up here, you know, harassing Haitian kids for simply, now you may get into an argument with somebody and say, okay, and they may dish you like, well, you Haitian or something like that. Somebody may say something like that. But in terms of the fact that, you know, Haitian kids they weren't beat up in high school. In middle school, in elementary school, you may have a couple, and like I say, in Fort Lauderdale has a huge Haitian population. After Dade County, Broward County would be the biggest in the state in terms of the actual Haitian population. So I know in elementary school and even middle school, there was some issues like that. But for the most part, I did not see that. I'm just being honest with you. And now that's not to say I did, you know, we did hear stuff like that and you did have instances, but for the most part, you know, it just wasn't, they just wasn't going back and forth like that. Now, let me ask you something real quick too. I got you up here, and I'm gonna let the speakers speak because I don't want to hog it up. But now I've had plenty Caribbean friends in my lifetime too, and I've asked a number of them, Jamaicans and Haitians as well too. And I asked, and I want you to answer this honestly. I asked my Jamaican, one of my best friends, like a brother to me. You know, me and this dude, thick and thin, brother. Anything I could do, I would do for him. Anything he'd do for me, vice versa. And I asked him. I said, you know, I've always heard this talk that Jamaicans think that black people are lazy. His mom and dad are both Jamaicans. I believe he was born in Jamaica, and he said, yeah, he's like a lot of Jamaican parents think that Black Americans are lazy and don't work hard. Years later, about 3-4 years later, I had a Haitian homeboy. Who was in college, had a Haitian homeboy. He was like, I asked him, I said, matter of fact, his father was a professor at FAMU, very intelligent man. So I asked him, I said, you know what? I've always heard this talk that Caribbean people and Haitians, they think Black people are lazy. Like, yeah, they feel like Black people, they like, yeah, especially the older generation, they feel like that you guys just waste opportunities and that you whine and this and that, and that you don't put forth any effort and that you, this and that or whatever. So let me ask you now, and I'm talking about, I know you say you're 29, so you should at least have parents in their 50s, I would assume 50s, or even, let's say if you got them in their late 40s, but 50s on, late 40s to 50s on up, and you got aunts and uncles and everything else. Have you ever heard this conversation from the people in your family, or not even the people in your family, the people in your community, friends and everything else? Have you ever heard them say that they think that Black people were lazy, entitled, didn't work hard, and all kind of the negative things as well too?
Most definitely. Like most definitely. Like my mom, she would always tell me, like, I don't want you to be like these Black Americans. Like, these Black Americans, like, they don't do nothing. They don't want to do, like, they want to be in gang, all types of other shit. Like, for instance, like,
try not to curse, but go ahead. You got it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Okay, so for instance, like, when I was younger, I always wanted to grow out my hair, and I just wanted to, like, probably twist it up or something. But my mom would always refer back to, oh, you want to be like these Black Americans? You want to be like these Black Americans? Like, you want to have dreads? I'd be like, Mom, no, I just want to grow my hair out. I just want to, because like in a lot of Caribbean culture, not all, but in some Caribbean families, like they don't play with stuff like that. Like they want you to look clean cut, and no tattoos, no earrings. Like some families,
but the Jamaicans are known for the Rostas. They known for the dreads, right? Though.
Yeah. But there are some Jamaicans who don't play that stuff either. But to answer your question, my mom, she's one of those people who are like that. She would always tell me, like even if I have friends, like for instance, if I had a friend and I bring a friend home, she would always ask me first, like what is he? Like, she always want to know, what is he? And I'll be like, he's this or he's that. And I never cared, like what my friends are. But my mom would always try to tell me, yeah, stay away from these Black Americans. They're no good. So.
And do you see where that could be the issue right there? Because like you say, all of the stuff that was going on with the kids and stuff at school, people look at it as, hey, kids. These are kids up here. Kids say dumb things. Kids do dumb things. Kids tease. Kids, have a mouth on them. Kids say stuff that they shouldn't be saying. But when you have a parent saying, hey, you know what? Pretty much telling you guys not to be like them, not to do this, not to do that, whatever. Yet it was a group of people that have always, like I said, when you had the Cubans that was being brought over here, it was Black Americans that were protesting right down in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, saying that this is unfair treatment, that you shouldn't be doing this. When a lot of Haitians and Caribbean people came into the country, a lot of Black people donating clothes and food and everything else to them as well too. So when you see this now you can see that now this is grown people telling you this, so you can see maybe, because my parents, they weren't going to say, hey, you know what, that Haitian boy across the street, don't let me see you play with him, because they not like us. You're never going to hear them say, my mom and dad, you're never going to hear them say, you know what, you stay away from that Jamaican, you stay away from that Bahamian. Hell, you don't even hear them say you stay away from the white people or the Latinos or anything else like that. So you can understand where that may be a little issue, where that may cause a problem. And at the same time, that article, when they were saying that, immigrants need to come together and unite and this and that or whatever, well, Black people have done that. You can just look at the politics. There are Black people all throughout Florida that have voted for people from the Caribbean. You've had people that have voted in federal levels for people from the Caribbean and other immigrants and everything else like that. So, Black people in that article saying that we need to come together and do this and do that. I think out of all the people in this country, Black Americans have been doing that since the 60s. That's one reason civil rights is the way it is. Civil rights was intended for Black Americans, and then they went ahead and they put everybody else into it. They put white women into it. They put minorities into it, which mean Asian, Latinos, and it also means Black immigrants as well benefited from the actual struggle of Black Americans. So, you know, that's the issue. And it's, you know, Black people in this country, they're seeing that you have immigrants coming over here and they're getting access to things that they can't get. You talk about housing programs, you're talking about this and you're talking about that or whatever. And then when Black people say something about, you know, hey, why can't we get this? And people look at them crazy and this and that. And for the fact of the matter that you're saying that your parents even said that, and let's be for real, you've benefited and your family's benefited off of the Black struggle as well, too. So, you know, like I say, when y'all came into, and when your family migrated over here to this country, they wasn't living on South Beach. They wasn't living on in Coral Gables and all those other places. No, they were right there with the Black people. So when you start having these other people that look like you or whatever, because let's be for real, even when we talk about the Jamaicans, the Haitians, this and that, whatever. As a kid, when I saw a person, I saw him as Black. I said, this is another Black person. This is a Black person. And they're Jamaican. But to me, it's just a Jamaican who was Black. That's how we grew up. That's how we were taught that, hey, whether they're African, they're Jamaican, they this, they're that. Hell, even the Latinos, because even when I was younger and my dad was like, I'm like, why? I was like, why is that Black man speaking Spanish like that? My dad was like, well, he's a Black man. And I'm like, but he's speaking Spanish. You're like, well, you speaking English, aren't you? And I said, well, okay, well, yeah. So that's how we looked at it. And I don't want to hog the mic up because we got some hands up here. But Z, I appreciate you. Stay up here. I'm sure we're gonna have a nice, respectful dialogue conversation tonight. So let me go ahead and kick it. I know, no Tax. I know you was up here, but let me get Trouble. She just came up here, and I'll get back to you. Trouble, what's going on with you tonight?
Hey, Newstoter. No Tax. Since the Tax was already up, you can go ahead and go to her, and I'll go after.
Okay. Well, no taxation. You go ahead.
Well, I'm glad that I can go after you because I think this young man that you just were talking to, he could hear another perspective from a different generation because I could be your grandmother, Z.I. Zoe. And it's too bad that what I had to turn my fan off, excuse me, in my kitchen. It's too bad that we can't get the kind of thinking that my generation had, or even my mother, who's 92, generation had. When I was coming up, Z.I. Zoe, I came up very Black American. I'm a product of the 60s. I was out there. I was a Malcolm X follower. I believed in revolutionary thought. And I was raised in a household with political revolutionaries for this country that did a lot of work. So my perspective is highly politically charged. And my perspective on people, there were two groups of people that my generation really had an affinity for because we understood their plight. The first group is the Haitians. We didn't dislike Haitians, and in fact, we understood the Haitians more than we understood any other group because we knew we lived with white supremacy every day. See, you all defeated them, but did you really? Because your country is paying France. See what I'm saying? Like, this is a highly politically charged conversation that my generation had no beef with anybody in Haiti, and in fact blamed America because we live here for a lot of the things that they were doing in Haiti, and specifically the Clintons, because I have a friend who has an orphanage in Haiti. She's Haitian, and she takes care of children after the earthquake, not the last one, but a few years, some years back is when she started. And she comes to DC and gets some money, stuff like that. But, and the other group were the Black Cubans, because we know what the white Cubans did to them. So there were two groups, you know, because you got to understand those, you know, the Caribbean islands are very close, especially for us on the East Coast. And so, you know, we're able to see, you know, where we're, what we have in common and what we don't have in common. And one of the things that we have in common with Haitians is that we want to defeat white supremacy as well. And I want you to understand, Zoe, this is a complicated conversation. And, it, you know, maybe you've been hanging in the wrong rooms. I think you can elevate. You understand what I'm saying? Because you don't want to, at 27 years old, you don't want to close your mind off because you done ran into some crazy folks. You understand what I'm saying? So don't do that, because it's a whole lifetime that you have to live in, and it's no telling what you have to give to your country and then to the rest of the world. And that's the way we want you to think, because that's the way we have to think. If we can't defeat, I'm talking about Black Americans now, and this is why we want Haitian people to back us up, because we know what kind of, listen, I say send them out front because we know what kind of soldiers they are. But anyway, if we defeat white supremacy in this country, it will have a domino effect around the world. And so that's why we fight here. And we also had to delineate what they call delineation. See, that wasn't a problem when I was coming up, because we didn't have a whole bunch of, you know, they didn't let a whole bunch of Black folks in this country. They let them white Cubans in. They wouldn't let none of y'all in. You know, y'all was too dark for them. Now they need that melanin, so they bringing them in. Peak game. You know, they brought mostly Europeans in when I was coming up. You understand what I'm saying? And so we didn't have an influx of people with melanin coming into the country. Now they did out west, but that was Mexico. You know, and that's, you know, they share land really, if you think about it. But here on the East Coast, we did, you know, we had Jamaicans, we had Bahamians, you know, Dominicans, stuff like that. You know, the white Dominicans. Dominicans are white, you know. But so it's a different world that you live in now, is what I'm trying to tell you. But don't pay attention to the negativity that you get. Understand our position from people who can have intelligent conversations like you're in now. That's why I said in the very beginning what I said, if you were here, this is an intelligent conversation. We don't do all of that back and forth and I hate you and you hate me and you're this and I'm that. We just don't get down like that. It's unproductive. And I would rather see anybody with melanin anywhere in the world that's trying to defeat white supremacy, to have that attitude that you don't wallow in the mud with pigs. You understand what I'm saying? Level up. And I say that to Black Americans, and I'm saying it to you. This is a different type of conversation over here. This is the conversation that focuses in on the problem. The problem ain't the Haitians. The problem is white supremacy. Let's be real clear about that. And I'm going to leave it there.
All right. Thank you. No taxation. Guys, make sure y'all go ahead and retweet the space out too. Retweet the space out. We got about 100 people in here. Retweet it out. Let's try to get more people up in here. I want to hear people. Not only do I want to hear, you know, we got the Haitian brother up here, but maybe we get some Jamaican people up in here. We get some, you know, Bahamian. We get some African. I want to hear different people, Latinos as well too. You're welcome. I want to hear the immigrant point of view. Do you guys feel like Black people are hating on immigrants? You know, I find that because it seems to me like up in Chicago, I think a lot of people see it in Chicago, and a lot of people in Chicago are like, hey, we're being treated a certain way, and we're being you know, put on the shelves compared to, you know, people that's just getting here. So there's a feeling of, hey, what's up with us? Why can't we get the housing that everybody's getting? Why can't we get the EBT cards and this and that? And I know people want to sit up and say, oh, Black people use up all EBT. That's not true either, if you actually look at stats. But shout out to you, No Taxation. Let me go ahead and get to Trouble. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, Newstoter DJ Professor.
What's up?
Chilling like a villain. Shout out to everybody in the space tonight, the Black family. I wasn't in here earlier when you first started reading the article about Black people hating on immigrants, so I'll just go ahead and answer the title of the room, which you already know what my answer pretty much is. Black people we're not hating on immigrants. And it's sad that we cannot speak our minds, have our opinions, be vocal about what it is, how it is that we feel about the effects of immigration, whether it is Black immigrants, white immigrants. When we speak on immigrants, we're speaking on all immigrants. But a lot of times online, it's been made to seem as if we're just attacking the Black immigrants. No, we're speaking on immigration. Sorry, phone call was coming in, and that's whether or not it's legal immigration or illegal immigration. Black people, we are loud, we are boisterous. Our voice booms, literally and figuratively. Most people know, especially the white folks, know that when we speak on something, we are speaking truth to power. We don't mince our words. And so when we have these conversations, there's always a rush to twist the conversation and to make it appear as if we are being hateful because they know that we command a certain type of authority. So we're not hating on immigration. We are talking about the effects of it. I can't stand these tropes that keep going around about Black people being lazy. This country wouldn't be the country that it is that makes everybody want to come to it if Black people were lazy. I hate the tropes that people throw out when they say, well, Black people are begging, because I've seen several conversations saying, well, Black folks are begging for reparations and you're trying to get the crumbs and you're using immigrants and you just want the crumbs. Well, look, let's break this down a little bit. Because when it comes to these immigrants coming over here, being able to utilize the resources, who's paying for that? Those are coming off of our tax dollars as well. So who's really getting the crumbs? We're not begging for reparations. We are demanding the reparations that is owed to us. You got these other groups coming over here able to get things that is being paid for by our tax dollars. So that's not begging for crumbs. That's not asking for crumbs. That is demanding what we are rightfully owed. So these tropes is really starting to become 100% annoying because people really don't take the time to think. And like Sister Taxation says, at the end of the day, it all boils down to white supremacy. Black folks, Black Americans in this country, we know what white supremacy is. We know what it looks like. We know the varying forms that it shows up with, the elements it shows up in. And unfortunately, a lot of these Black immigrants and white immigrants do not understand and does not recognize white supremacy and what it is the way that we do, because we have always continued to fight against it in the country, in this land in which we are on right now. Maybe you understood it in your country, but for some reason, when everybody gets here, they seem to pretend as if they're not dealing with white supremacy anymore because you're too busy looking for a comfortable position in it. Now, don't get it twisted. You know, there's a lot of Black Americans here who would like to be in a better position of white supremacy as well. But the vast majority of us are trying to fight it, and we will continue to fight. Black folks have always unified with other Black folks that came from other nations. We've spent decades, we spent a lot of time trying to unify with everybody. But we're now at a point where we're recognizing that it's a one-sided thing. It's not Black folks being divisive or hating on immigrants. We're tired at this point. We've been being vexed long. At a point now, we're like, okay, some of y'all, you got to get that nigga wake-up call in order for you all to really kind of get what white supremacy is and how it is and how it gets you. You teaching your kids to not be like the Black Americans? You mean the same Black Americans who fought for y'all to be here? You teach your kids not to be like Black Americans because they're lazy, the same Black Americans who built this economy up and made it possible? Not to be, that's white supremacy thought process right there. That's what you're teaching your children, the white supremacy thought process. And who is more anti-Black? That's anti-Black.
to tell your children not to be like the Black Americans. But when we speak on it, we're the ones being divisive. Are we really being divisive, or are we calling the divisiveness out and people want us to be quiet? You cannot lullaby us back to sleep. We done been asleep way too long. We're trying to wake the rest of us up. We got a whole sleeping giant. We're trying to wake that sleeping giant up, but we got a lot of elements trying to suppress that sleeping giant from waking up, because when that sleeping giant wake all the way up, we own that ass, everybody's ass. Sorry, Newstoter. I believe that Black Americans are the leaders of this whole thing. We are the one that's going to lead us to the revolution that's going to get all of us where we need to be. We're going to lead all of you other Black nations and unify with you at some point in time. That's the ultimate goal. But right now, y'all are unteachable. You can't lead unteachable people. So you got to get that nigga wake-up call through white supremacy. Because we've been trying to tell you and you're not willing to learn. That makes you unteachable. Because you think you are above us. And you're not. We could unify, but there has to be some things. There got to be a little bit of straightening. We're going through a straightening period right now. We're not hating on you. We're getting you right. We want you to tighten up. We want you to stop hating on us. Right now, you got white folks right out there putting a battery in y'all backs, making y'all feel like you are some special Negroes that are above us. Because you don't know what white supremacy looks like. We know what it looks like. You don't. Obviously, you don't. Most of you. And I'm not saying all of you, but it's a vast majority of you. So there's got to be a little bit of straightening before we can come back together as one. But y'all got to get this work. You got to have that nigga wake up call. You got to have it, because y'all been vexing us for a long time and we're tired. So you got to go through the motions. Right now, there's a white man running around Chicago posting up posters and stuff talking about Black Americans are being hating on immigrants. That's white supremacy. He's being divisive. And instead of you all recognizing it for what it is, you're feeding into it and you're feeling empowered by it. We know that he's going to use you all. We know that as soon as he get through getting whatever it is that he wants from you, which is for you all to vex us, he gonna toss you right on the side, and you guys to be sitting there with your little feelings hurt. Damn, I thought I was part of the team. Damn, I thought I was one of y'all. No, you're not. But we know this already. Y'all gotta learn that. So I'll land, because y'all know I'm long-winded, and I apologize. But Black people, we're not hating on immigrants, and immigrants, I'll be glad when you all realize that we're not hating on you. We are responding to the vitriol that we are getting from you. We are responding to decades of vitriol that we've been seeing from you all, but have been trying to ignore because we wanted to unify with you, because we thought that sooner or later they're gonna see the playbook. But the more of you all that comes over here, the worse it has gotten. So now the gloves is off. But when the gloves come off, people don't want to see it for what it is. So when y'all get right, we gonna be, like I tell my nieces and nephews, hey, y'all mad at auntie right now? It's okay. You love me in the, you mad now, you hate me now, you love me in the morning. That means when you get right and realize where you went wrong at, and realize that I wasn't the problem, you the problem, your mindset. Where you at right now in life is the problem. When you get right, my number's still the same. You know where to find me. I ain't going nowhere. But you're not going to come to me any old kind of way. You're not going to come to me with your BS and think I'm supposed to accept it and swallow it when I don't have to. And that's what Black America is right now. We don't have to take that BS, and we're going to speak on it anytime we get ready. And we don't care what nobody say. We don't care if you call it hating or what you call it. We're going to speak on it, and we're going to keep getting louder and louder and louder and louder about it. And at the end of the day, what you going to do about it? You're going to get right. You ain't gonna have no choice but to get right. And I'll land my plane.
All righty. Thank you, Miss Trouble. Let me go ahead and get to Ely, and then I got you, Black Pressure. Professor DJ, trust you. I see you up here as well too. Go ahead, Ela, you got it.
Bro, I don't want to go after that great goddamn commentating speech you just gave, bro. That's the phone low, big dog. Phone problem again. Your phone low, yeah. Take your earbuds out.
It sounds like it's a little better now. You took them out.
No, I got close to my plate. I got the speakerphone.
Oh, you good now?
No, I was saying I don't want to go after that great speech, man. Y'all crazy. But she 100% right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like the lady that talked before her. I'm in that generation where my peoples are 80 years old. My mom and dad. My dad 84, 83, and my mom 82. So they had me at 40. So I could you know what I'm saying? They had me as old people. My grandparents would have been 100-something years old. You know what I'm saying? So they never, ever, ever, ever taught that African stuff, ever. You know what I'm saying? It was up here, especially during the civil rights era. You know what I'm saying? But majority of the black folks here, especially here in Detroit, across the whole United States, we weren't really into that African thing. We showed them love, but like the sister said, the more come, that's when the problems came. And the ones who are really speaking up, having problems now are the ones who came during the 80s, during the crack era, when they took advantage of the black folks who were on the corner doing nothing. They came in and took the spot of them to go to school. That's what the affirmative action thing was for. You know what I'm saying? It's for all black folks to go to school, but you watch TV all day, you want to be a pimp, thug, hustler, killer. You got some kids want to be on the corner, and they came in and took the space of them. You know what I'm saying? And then once they took the space, they then contribute back to our community. They got the big head. They moved around the white folks. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of a, we not about to put a fence on no more. You know what I'm saying? That's all. It ain't no hate. Just you ain't on the team, you're going to get treated like the enemy. You might not get the full throttle of the wrath, but god dang it, you might still get punched up. So that's it's not hate. They can hate all day because we don't need them. They don't understand that. See, they everything calmed down now. After 67, you know what I'm saying? Black folks start burning these cities down and shooting out with white folks. You notice in 70, that's when they backed up. They were like, oh shoot, these black folks, they violent. And we're the children of them people. You know what I'm saying? We're the children of the people who lived through the dang on riots and the civil rights era. And we're worse than them. But we don't have that fight no more because there's no opposition. For some reason, we got an illusion of inclusion. We think we made it, but we really didn't. The war's still on. It's just economic now. You make $100,000 a year, you're supposed to spend 30 of that in your community. So the Africans who have problems with us, who are saying that we hate or whatever, they are the ones who came after the 80s and 90s. You know what I'm saying? Prime example. I'm gonna get off after this. Prime example. Compare an old Haitian woman from 1960 to an old black woman 1960 in Chicago, Detroit, New York. Our women was fly as hell. Powerful. Theirs was doing whatever hell. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So let's be real. We are the shit. You know what I'm saying? They think we're gonna forget about it. They think we're gonna just give up all our accomplishments and say we African now because some shit Jesse Jackson broke down.
Hey Ely, watch the cursing.
Oh my God, because of some stuff Jesse Jackson wrote down on the legislation. You know what I'm saying? When he put the African American in, that's when all them they try to normalize replacing, and it ain't happening. We waking up, we being woke up, and just gotta get the ones who ain't talking about it. You know what I'm saying? That's all. They coming in while a vast majority of our youth is looking the other way instead of looking at the prize. You know what I'm saying? So it's time to get our youth back and teach teach them like, look, I would rather see you make it than them. We'll worry about them later. Because obviously they ain't on your side. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's about it, though.
All right. Appreciate that, Ely. Like I said, I want to get some other people up here, too, as well. I want to get some people from the diaspora up here as well, too. I want to hear Z.I. Zo. I appreciate you being up here, so I want you to stay up here if you can. Stay up here. And definitely, if you want to speak on it, man, just raise your hand again as well, too. And I don't want you to think that anybody that we're picking on you, anything like that as well. We're just having a dialogue. We're just having a conversation because this actual article and these flyers and these posters and everything, they've gone viral and stuff like that. And, you know, people are saying, you know, black people are hating on immigrants and this and that or whatever. So, you know, I want to get a perspective of actual immigrants as well, too, and hear what they think about that as well, too, because people forget that black people have always in this country, whether it's been you know, beneficial or detrimental to them, they've supported immigration, you know, and I think it's kind of a shock now that you have a number of black people. And let's be honest here, there's still a great deal of black people in this country that still support immigration. But you have more black people that's actually against it now than there ever was before. And I think that's kind of been a culture shock to people like that as well, too, especially if you're a Democrat. You know, people saying, well, you know what, because we know Democrats support immigration. They're talking about the border and this and that, whatever. And be honest, both of them support immigration, illegal and legal immigration. They both support. They may go about it different ways and this and that. And they may play games or whatever. Republicans as well too, because when they were in office and when they've had control of the White House and the Senate and the House and everything else, they've set up there and they haven't just made these reforms and just stopped it or whatever because they want cheap labor. They've always wanted cheap labor. When slave labor went out the door, they say, you know what? We'll go ahead and find another way to have legal slave labor with prison systems. But then let's go ahead and make sure we can still get all these other people to come in here and pay them peanuts and do the jobs that we would have had to pay these other people. So they support it as well, too. They can play the games about busting these people here and there and this and that or whatever. But if they were serious, they would have done something years ago about it. So I don't even listen to Republicans even on that garbage as well, too, because they're never going to shut the border down completely, ever. It's not in their best interest too, because at the end of the day, the almighty dollar in this country is God Almighty. They can sit up here and you can pass out all the Bibles and all this other stuff right here. The most important thing in America, and has always been in America, is the almighty dollar. End of the story. Let me go ahead and get to my man Black Pressure. Pressure, what's going on?
One thing, just 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. Hey, Black, we're due. I'm trying to bring you up. I don't know what's up with your phone. I don't know if you're trying to come up here from New Orleans. I see the LaFleur flag right there. So I don't know if you're trying to come up here. You got to fix your phone. I sent you a. Go ahead, Toto. Go ahead.
All right. Let me go ahead and get the Black Pressure.
News, what up?
What's going on, Pressure?
Man, what's up, fam? Everybody in the room. I'm live from New Orleans in a hurricane, man.
Oh, you in New Orleans for that hurricane? Dang.
Yeah, I'm out here till the end of December.
All right. Hey, be safe out there, man, because I see that storm is like at a category 2, so be safe.
Yeah, thank you. So you know, News. I'm never alone, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna be nice. Just a disclaimer, okay? So I'm gonna touch on one of your talking points that you mentioned a few minutes ago. So I think I think you spoke for all black people in America. When the young, I say young guy because I'm jealous of him because I wish I was still in my 20s. But the young guy from Haiti was talking about how his mother would pull black people's cards and check their ethnicity. And then she would say, well, don't hang with those black Americans. If that don't sound like the white folks, I don't know what does. Only a coon and a tar baby would talk like that. Like you said, same thing with your parents and my parents. My parents would never let that come out of their mouths about any black person, no matter the accent they had. And they would not let me nor any of my siblings talk like that about another black person. But you know what? When you look at the history of Haiti, them niggas run behind the white folks because they have a claim that we don't have. They fought white people and defeated them. Sent the French back across the Atlantic Ocean with their behind kick. We've been in a perpetual war with these people for 400 years. But like I say, they really do. When it comes to Haitian history, if I was a Haitian, I would literally burn the history books. These have to be the only black.
Hold on 1 second. We lost pressure for a minute. Hold on. I'm in the matrix, y'all. So give me 1 second.
To give them a pillow after they beat their behind. So, and I'm gonna touch one more thing, and I'm gonna mute up and listen. Somebody said something about in the 90s that hip hop made Caribbean culture cool. No, it didn't. What hip hop did, Black American culture welcomed Caribbean culture with open arms. Caribbean culture will never have the power to take over hip hop and say, hey, this is a Black American music, but this is us. You'll never do that. We let you come in, and you should be thankful for it. And there's a lot more I want to say, but I'll mute up and listen.
All right. Thank you, Pressure. Real quick, guys, for those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Make sure you guys visit Newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news in Black America today. Visit Newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news in Black America today. We have the actual Newstoter subscription. I ain't got nobody sign up to the actual become.
I'm gonna do it. No, I'm gonna do it. Hey, I'm gonna do it for let me say one more thing that slipped my mind. Hold on a second. I know that a couple of people, to me, I apologize in advance if I'm wrong, but to me, they made excuses for Caribbean people disrespecting American Black people, and they blamed it on white supremacy. Nonsense. Because this is the thing. Black Americans suffered the same white supremacy and worse. Why don't we disrespect them? We like I always say, hung from trees, picked the cotton, skin beat off our back, got burned alive, buried in shallow graves, thrown in a river, all that. It's amazing how we found a way not to disrespect Black people from the diaspora, but when it comes to them disrespecting us, they suffer white supremacy. That's nonsense, and I'll mute up and listen.
All right. Thank you, Pressure. And let me go ahead and finish a little promo too. Yeah. Join that subscription, guys. For as little as $1.75 a month, you can become a contributor to the Newstoter.com platform for as little as $1.75 a month. It's up in the Jumbotron on the far right-hand side. It takes less than a minute to go ahead and create an account. For as little as $1.75, you can support us as a recurring payment. For as little as $1.75, you can support Black-owned business. You can't support Black-owned business much cheaper than that. I know Judge Joe Brown said you could with his barbecue sauce, but I'm going to have to disagree with the Honorable Judge. $1.75, you can support Newstoter. It'd be very hard to find another Black-owned business that you can support for as little as that. Let me go ahead and get to and also we got the PayPal and Venmo and the Jumbotron as well too. From the people on YouTube, we have all those links in the description in the bio. So go ahead and support. Let me go ahead and get to who was next? Trust you. Are you still up here?
Yeah, bro. I'm still here. Give me a moment. Let me turn my TV down real quick. Hopefully everyone is doing very well today. I am blessed tonight. So I just want to come up here and show people some love, even though y'all may know who I am or may not. See some thumbs down. Okay. All right. So, and some thumbs up. Okay. Shout out to you. So yeah, I just wanted to say, I loved the debate yesterday. Yes, Trump got dragged. She did a very good job doing so. And to see that turn around and him trying to say like he actually won it, just shows the deception that this man is willing to go. Obviously you get knocked down about 8 times and you probably have 2 good punches, but it's all good. The thing is that you gotta understand white supremacy. And he mentioned it yesterday. When he came after the Haitians, right? I went on Twitter and I looked at some of the AI images generated, and what I saw was just Black men running after Trump with cats in his hand. chopping block. All right? My point is, if he's willing to go after them, he's going to be willing to go after us soon. That's how white supremacy works. Get you to help them get rid of the other people, and then before you know it, they'll come for you. Slavery happened the same way. Help me pay for these people or whatever, your guns, whatever, for your captured slaves. And after a while, they themselves were captured. And it's the same playbook, but black people on Twitter often don't have any sense, unfortunately. Not everybody, but I'm just keep it real. There's those out there who think that they're doing something good. It might be genuine, I don't know. But they will be next on the chopping block. Often they don't respect the people that actually turn into other people that they're asking you to help with. So, yeah, you got to understand the playbook. And soon he's going to be talking about us coming after us, especially if he get back in office. He don't think about us. He don't think much of us in the first place. And one black is just like all blacks. That's what in his mind. There's no, okay, well, these people are this. No, when you're in America, you speak English, you're black. Doesn't matter. And he'll use you as such. So you don't believe me, all I will say, just watch. Please. It's not too late. I want people to come back, stop being the Trump crash dummy, come back home, help us gain those small inches, these feet, these miles that we need to put our people in office. If you're born here in America, you're our people. You have absolutely had the American black experience due to a lot of white supremacy, unfortunately. But I would not denigrate these people because their parents may be from somewhere else, yet they were born here. I would not denigrate them because some guy told us that, they're not the same, all this other bull crap. I'm just saying, man, we got to do what's needed. There's strength in numbers. If they show that we are separated, divided amongst each other, first of all, they're going to be laughing. Second of all, they're going to be very happy about it. And third of all, they're going to say, see, these people are not faithful to one another, regardless where they're from. Okay? The Italians and Germans, American Italians, American French, guess what? They all in the White House, Capitol buildings, all these other levels of government, first-born Americans working together. But we are not. Instead, it's the very opposite. Let's divide. What is that going to do? Be proud about who you are, whatever you found out in your past, but what is it going to do for the future? Make things much harder for us to get what we need. Much harder. I'm not saying there's not certain, let me just be one thing, I'm laying my plane. Of course, there are certain privileges that the government offer to all immigrants when they come here. Let me help you set up a business. Let me help you give you a loan. Let's help. There's funds set aside for that. It's been like that for back in Martin Luther King's day. All right? It's not just exclusive to some of these other people. And understand this, a lot of these immigrants don't think the same way. They don't think that all black Americans are bad. They just don't. Just like we don't all think that they're all bad. It's that colonialism and the freaking colonism that caused us, that colonizer mentality that caused us to hate one another without actually talking to one another. Maybe we might be the missing pieces to one another. I'm just keeping it real. That's just what it is. I don't care how far across the water you are. If you landed somewhere on the other side of the ocean, guess what? We had similar experiences. Some of them are still having those experiences. Let's get over this bull crap, man. We going down, we killing ourselves. Before we even get started, let's at least get some money on the table about reparations. Before we even talk about, hey man, you're not my brother, I don't want to talk to you. Well, guess what? The same first generation immigrants are the ones that's getting into these public office platforms, starting businesses, and now you're saying myself off from that. How about you network and work together, God doggy? That's what I do every day. And I land my plane.
Okay, I gotta go ahead and respond to what you said because you said wait, hold on, Black Pressure, hold on, everybody, hold on, wait. I'm gonna let y'all speak, but wait a minute, just let me kind of address some of this stuff that he just said here. Okay, there's this mythical thing called a minority coalition. And in this minority coalition, everybody is equal and everybody's friends and everybody loves each other and this and that or whatever. But that's not the actual real thing, because if there was let's be for real, the minority coalition was created by Black Americans. Black Americans have been the most accepting group of people in this country, whether it was poor whites, whether it was Latinos, whether it was Asians, whether it was other Black people from around the world that came into the neighborhoods and you supported their business, you employed them as your jobs and everything else, you donated, you did whatever you could. So the whole thing that people saying that, that Trump is going to get y'all next and this and that. First off, nobody in the world has to teach Black Americans about white supremacy. Black Americans know about white supremacy better than any other Black group on earth. No offense, and yeah, we may have had similar things, but we were conceived in the belly of the beast. We were almost like some kind of science project conceived over here. So we know it better than anybody. In fact, when people come over here, we tell them about exactly what you're gonna face and what you got to look out for, and people look at you side-eye. There is no other group. There's never been a group that Black people say, you know what, you can't move in our neighborhood, you can't listen to our music, you can't eat at our restaurants, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. A lot of this stuff you're talking about, a lot of these immigrant, especially Black immigrants and whites and Latinos as well, go to HBCUs and get educated. Okay, Black people have never, we're sitting up and we're saying, well, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to come together. Black people since the 1960s have been trying to work with other people in this country and get them to come together. Black people, Black Americans, more than any other group, Black Americans, not white Americans, not Latinos, not Asians, not Black immigrants. Black Americans have been the one with the olive branch saying, you know what, if we come together, y'all, we can do this in this country, we can accomplish this, we can get real power, we can uplift each other, and this and that or whatever. Everybody comes over here and they look out for themselves. Every group looks out for themselves. And then if a Black American now is saying something about it, he's some kind of racist or something. He's some kind of white supremacy tool or whatever. We're sitting up here and we're talking about what Trump is going to use this and Trump is going to do that. I'm at the age now, I'm in my mid-40s. To me, it hasn't mattered in my lifetime who was president, whether it was a Democrat or Republican. They haven't benefited me one bit. Not one bit. We can sit up here and we can talk about this and that or whatever. They can sit up here and lie, and both of them can sit through and lie through their teeth in these debates and talk about what they're going to do and they're going to do this and they're going to do that or whatever. We know at the bottom line, when it comes to doing anything for Black people, these people try to do the least amount. They don't want to do anything for Black people that they absolutely don't have to do. And if they're going to do something for Black people, they're going to find a way to go ahead and do it for everybody. So to sit up here and say, you know what, Black people, that y'all ain't trying to do this, and y'all ain't trying to work. No. For 60 years, we've been trying to work together. And every group in this country from the civil rights era have benefited off the Black struggle. And I'm going to give you the order of the people who benefited the most. First off, people, we talk about the minorities, we talk about white people. White men have benefited the most from the civil rights movement. People say, well, how in the hell have white men benefited? Well, because they opened up the damn market and they became billionaires and multimillionaires overnight. Like Dr. King said, integration didn't cost white people a damn thing. In fact, it gave them a new customer base. Then comes the white women who are already, after white men were the most powerful. I don't want to hear that. Well, she couldn't vote in the 1920s. She may not have could have voted, but when that white man kicked the bucket, everything he had, she had. Wealth, unbelievable. Then you got the minority groups. You got the Asians, you got the Latinos, and you got the Black immigrants. Black people have always spent money. Black people have always shopped with these people. Black people have always included them. Black people have never been against these people right here. So when people say, we need to come together and this and that, no. like I say, black people have been, and you made a great point. I'm glad you said, well, you got first generation immigrants that's up in office and this and that. Who you think in a lot of these areas of voting these immigrants, these black immigrants, or these first generation immigrants in the office? It's black Americans. Barack Obama comes from an immigrant background. You saw how black people galvanized around him in this country. Even Kamala Harris, she comes from a black immigrant background. Black Americans galvanized, some black Americans are galvanizing around her. She's probably gonna get. She's still gonna get the bulk of the black vote. So when we sit up here and we say, well, you know what, and they're trying to tear it down, and no, you can't. And you said it yourself that there's certain groups that there are certain things they set aside for this group here when they come over here. So you could kind of imagine that if you're the person that built this country and you have toiled in obscurity for 400 some damn years, you can kind of understand that somebody's going to be a little bit pissed off that, hey, I'm trying to create a business right here. I can't get any funding, but somebody who just came over here off taxpayer dollars are being put over me. They can create a business. They can get free food. They can get free house, health, and everything else. There's scholarships set aside and this and that for them and everything else. But yet when we do it and we ask for something like that, people tell us we living off the government's dime and stuff like that. We're criticized. We're talked about. You know, I have no issue with immigrants. I have no issue with anybody wanting to come to this country and better themselves. That's what people do. You know, but the simple fact, we can't sit up here and we can't blame black people. It's not black Americans' fault that there's this disconnect between them and immigrants. It's not black Americans' fault. You can't, if a black American went to any place in the Caribbean or Latin America or Africa, any of these other places, the same benefits that are shown to the immigrant people that come over here would not be shown to black people in those countries. You would not be going and instantly get put above these other groups. They would not be giving you setting aside funds so you can start a business. They would not be setting aside funds so you can have housing and lodging. They would not be setting aside funds to make sure your belly is full and clothes on your back and that you got health care. So to sit up here and say that is just totally wrong. It's not true. And to sit up and everybody has benefited. The civil rights movement was strictly for black Americans, went to everybody else in this country. Everybody, even the damn handicapped, have benefited off of the black American struggle. And then when people, the problem is that you have some of these immigrants sitting up here talking about whether you agree with affirmative action or not, saying, well, you need to go ahead and get rid of quotas because they're putting people in there that's not qualified and my SAT score was better than theirs. And this, are you serious? Are you serious? Can you sit up here and say that with a straight face? Are you serious? We can go back to Frederick Douglass up here championing the rights for the Chinese. And people sitting up here, black people, you supported Native Americans and every other group in this country. And for the simple fact that black people aren't saying anything about the war in Gaza to the point that, because you still got black people talking about, hey, it's wrong about the war in Gaza, but that every black person, it's just not an outpouring of support for that to stop the war in Gaza, then you're unpatriotic. That's the first thing people want to talk about black people. We're ungrateful, we're unpatriotic, all kind of ridiculous stuff. No. And we're sitting up here talking about the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. Both, and I get tired of hearing this. I'm like, well, this was the slave party. Well, what in the hell, when they was a slave party, when the Democrats was a slave party, what was Republicans doing? Were they dying trying to free niggas out here? Huh? When you had Jim Crow and all this other stuff, were they dying at Jim Crow trying to free niggas? Or did they say, you know what? Did they say, no, we just gonna go with the flow, y'all handle it down to the way you want to, and this and that or whatever. So to sit up here and to say that, we're not being divisive. Black Americans are entitled to something in this country. Damn it, if they didn't pay the ultimate price. And let's just forget about all of the work that they did in slavery. Let's talk about the destruction of the black family. Okay? Splitting families up for generations. Something that no other group that's ever migrated to this country has ever experienced. Italian, Irishman, somebody from Poland, German, a black Caribbean, a black African, a Latino. None of them ever had their kids snatched up out of their damn hands. None of them had to go in there and straighten the master out and wring his damn neck for him taking advantage of his wife, and then he gets strung up. None of them. And to sit up here and say, you know what? Well, we're entitled to the exact same. Like black Americans should have been a protected class in this country back from the civil rights era. Point blank. So we can't sit up here and say, you know what? Well, you guys are doing this, and no. Even in whether it's our culture, our entertainment, fashion, whatever, black people have always been welcoming. I can remember playing football, and there was a white boy on the team, and the white boy had a little skill, and these Negroes was calling him white dog. They was calling him white dog. So to sit up here and say this, it's just, to me, it's just mind-boggling that black people come up and say this stuff right here. We sitting up here and we're talking about, well, we're fighting over this. We're fighting over damn political parties who don't give a damn. Kamala Harris don't give a damn. Donald Trump don't give a damn. Joe Biden didn't give a damn. Barack Obama didn't give a damn. Bill Clinton didn't give a damn. Ronald Reagan didn't give a damn. George Bush 1, George Bush 2, you name them, Jimmy Carter, none of them gave a damn. Because if they gave a damn, then the plight of black people would be much different than what it is in this country. Hey, brother, you got to mute your mic while I'm talking. The host is talking. Please don't interrupt the host. Because I just sat back there and I listened. I wanted to come off the mic while you was talking, but I just listened because I was just like, yeah, it's fair. Yeah, it's a Newstoter space, so it's fair. So I just sat there and I just listened. I said, well, I'm gonna let the brother go ahead and get it in, because what he's saying, it just, to me, it's just complete disrespect. It's complete disrespect. Like I say, there's not a place in this country, and that's white countries included too. I don't want you just to say, well, I don't just want to say the countries where the immigrants coming from. You can't go to England and be put in front of white people like that. You can't go any countries. There's not a place on earth that a black person in this country could go to and be put on equal footing with any of the actual native citizens. And not one place on planet Earth is that going to happen. So to sit up here, and say that, and this dude here sitting up at the Communist Party, he's sitting up here. Let's not act like Russia, and I don't want to hear people talk about Paul Robeson and this and that. Let's not act like Russia had this great affinity for the Negro either. Okay, Russia played games with the U.S. to try to get underneath their skin. The Russians never gave a damn either. So I don't hear about the Communist Party, the Socialist Party, or none of these other parties sitting up here talking about this. One group has been the guinea pig for every damn thing that went wrong in this country. And people are sitting up here still trying to put the blame on black Americans. Like, what are we talking about here? Black Americans have not set up here. You've never heard anything about black Americans bombing immigrants' neighborhoods, their houses, just destroying their property just because they came here and this and that or whatever. United Negro College Fund, I guarantee you that you have immigrants that have gotten scholarships from it. You got immigrants that go to these HBCUs. You got immigrants that get all kind of things set aside for black Americans. And not only black immigrants, Latino immigrants as well too. You got Indians up here cosplaying as being black at some of these universities. So we can't sit up here and say that, because I guarantee you, like I say, if you show up to any of these places tomorrow, you come there illegally at that. Come there illegally and say, you know what? I just snuck across the border, but you know what? I was hungry, boss. Can you feed me? Can you clothe me? They say, yeah, we got a nice place to put you at, nigga. Come here. You're going to sit here for, maybe about 5-10 years. And you're going to be eating bread and water. So no. It's not equal. It's not the same. Black people, if you want to blame anybody for the mistreatment of immigrants, then blame the majority that rule this country, because it's not black people. Like I say, any and everything that black people had, and like I say, growing up, if my mom would have heard me talk about, or my dad would have heard me talking about, well, I ain't gonna play with that Haitian kid because he's dirty as hell and this and that or whatever, they would have told me to shut your mouth, straight up. Rest in peace to my mom and my dad still here. They would have said, shut your mouth, boy. You don't know what the hell you talking about. Those people are coming over here trying to survive. They would have said they working hard. They trying to take care of their kids and stuff like that. They just trying to live like everybody else. They never once said this kind of stuff. So to put the blame and the onus strictly on black Americans, it's completely disingenuous. And it's nonsense. And it's a lie. It's a lie. No matter how you spin it, how many times you tell it, it's still going to be a lie. Now, Trust, I'm gonna let you say something real quick because you spoke for a while. I'll let you respond, but then when you respond, I'm gonna let my other speakers, because I got a bunch of hands up, so I'm gonna let them go ahead and speak. Let me give a shout out to Miss Trigger. Shout out to you, Miss Trigger. But I'm gonna let you go ahead, and then we're gonna go ahead and get to the other speakers. We got William trying to request to come up, so if anybody's not speaking right now, let me drop you down. Ely, let me drop you down. I'm gonna bring William up real quick, and I'll bring you back. But go ahead, Trust.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, listen, man, we all can chop it up. Somebody got an open mic.
That's me, but go ahead.
Okay. So look, at the end of the day, man, to me, in this point in time, we have to think about, and I told these other brothers and sisters earlier, because of the dangers of this president who's willing to do and see people are so hard they can't recognize a dictator when they see one. Right? They think it's all fun and games. They think, it can never happen here. Never will section of the government actually agree with this or go along with this. But we see it's about protecting not just, I won't even say not just. It's about protecting that white supremacy. It's about protecting their culture. Right? So they're willing to even throw away the Constitution to make sure they preserve that. Donald Trump is their guy in their mind. Or at least Donald Trump thinks he's that guy. My thing is this. I'm willing to put aside reparations. I'm willing to put aside everything. No one has to do anything for me personally. I can't speak for y'all. But just to make sure democracy stays intact. We've seen that it was they try to overtake it. Imagine Hitler trying to overtake democracy back then when Germany was a democracy, right? Or similar like ours. The people that thought it was a joke, the rich people who actually went along, the businessmen went along with him and tried to get this man, side by side with the chancellor. Which they ultimately did accomplish that. My point is this. To me, all of us sticking together, I never said nobody was equal or whatever. Of course we're different. We got different cultures, different way of doing things. But when people are American citizens and they're here, okay, they're born here, we have some common things, even though they still have part of their culture. So my thing is, it reminds me, it may seem a little silly, but it had a great significance. I remember when I watched the Black Panther, the first one, right? And you got all these different people, different cultures, black people. Like, it's just beautiful. But they had a problem against a main enemy. They all came together to support for that moment in time. And right now, I believe we are at that moment in time, and we're going to find out real soon. Okay? Maybe it might be the day after the election. I don't know. Maybe it needs to be before the election. I don't know. But I'm just saying, brothers, let's put our differences aside and try to figure this thing out, because our freedom is at risk. So I know people may disagree with me. They think that I'm crazy. But you have to understand, you got to think about this crazy man that we deal with. So I'm going to land my plane there.
All right, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you coming up. Trust, I'm gonna drop you down so I can bring Aeon up here, but I'll try to get you back up here. We got a bunch of hands up. So like I said, for anybody that's coming up here that's in the speaker section, if you're not going to speak right now, drop down so we can bring some other people up as well too. Don't hold up the spot. If you don't just sit up here if you're not going to speak. If you're going to come up here, we need to get your hands up so we can get you to speak, because we got other people that want to speak. Let me go ahead and get to Original. And let me give a shout out to Stephanie and Trigger. I couldn't see what on the Cash App, but shout out to both of y'all and thank you. Let me go ahead and get Mr. Original. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thanks, Newstoter. Peace, Black Power, and lineage-based preparation. Well, first, let me say this. Now, this Trust, whatever his name, he came up here talking about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, and I don't know, he was all over the place. But okay, Kamala, DJ, if you can cue this up and play it at some point. Kamala Harris, in an interview in 2020, she was asked about reparations for Black Americans, and she said that she wouldn't do anything that would only benefit Black Americans. Now, she want to cosplay as being Black. I don't give a damn about her. I'm not voting for her. Why would I vote for someone who told me to my face that they wouldn't do anything that would only benefit me? No other demographic was enslaved with our ancestors. No other demographic had to deal with the civil rights movement. No other demographic are still dealing with the vestiges of enslavement. It's Black Americans who are dealing with that, and nobody else. But yet, you don't tell me that I need to go out here and vote for this degenerate tramp who says she wouldn't do a damn thing for me because I'm Black. Hell no. I don't care if she loses. And as far as this democracy, this has never been a democracy for Black Americans. Never. We've always had to fight for what little crown we did get. And every time we fought for something, they would use ambiguous language, minority, people of color, low income, disadvantaged, to ensure that we didn't benefit from it. But yet they give it to everybody except for us. So no, we have nothing to be ashamed of. And no, and you can, you know what, let me share this with you. I have ran so many Democratic text messaging people off my phone because I cursed them out and told them, hell no, I wouldn't vote for this degenerate tramp. But I use the word, but this is Newstoter space, so I must be polite. You know, so don't come to us with this degenerate perspective telling us what we should be doing. No, we're not doing that. That's not what that is. And see, I'm gonna tell you. Now, I will tell you, as I've said before, I came up out of the Pan-African perspective. And even being a part of the Pan-African perspective, I would hear some of these Black immigrants, the Jamaicans, Haitians, or whoever, and they will say, I'm not Black, I'm whatever. You had, what's this old degenerate rapper, Nicki Minaj. She came over here, she's from Trinidad. Rap, hip-hop is a Black American creation. But she came here and pimped our culture. And then when what's his name? I can't think of the guy. He played the guy in that Black Panther. I can't think. Michael B. Jordan. So he had an alcohol line. So she claimed that he was stealing their culture, but she's been all up in our culture. See, that is the problem right there. It's not Black people. We don't go around knocking people, this, that, and whatever. I know someone who worked with Dr. King, and he said he tried to tell these Haitians decades ago on what they should be doing down in Florida. They didn't listen to him. But see, this is what happened. When the white people turned on him, on the Haitians, they ran back to him for support. So when all y'all talk this stuff about Black Americans don't like immigrants, you are lying. White supremacy has permeated your mind so badly, you don't have a damn clue as to what you said. That shows the level of below, I'm not going to say stupid, but below stupidity that you have. We haven't done anything to anyone, but everybody feels they can come here and attack us, and we're just supposed to accept it. Well, I am not sorry. We ain't going along with that. I'm not sorry to say that either. Now, for those that want to work with us, fine. Those that don't, leave us alone. See, I was a part of a group when that first earthquake happened in Haiti. We raised money and sent a sister over there to see what she could do. So y'all wanna y'all are operating under white supremacy, attacking us. We haven't done anything to anybody. But if you're going to attack it, I tell you what, we will respond. And we will respond in whatever way we have to respond. We're not taking any more garbage from anyone. And let me lay a news story so somebody else can get it, because I can't get lumber. But this shit ticks me off when you want to come up here and tell us we need to go vote for this $2 hoe who told us that she wouldn't do a damn thing for us. Look at me, Lane.
All right. Thank you, Original. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to and if we have William, I see you up here. If you're gonna speak, put your hand up here because we did have somebody that was trying to come back up here. So if you're gonna speak,
I'm right here.
yeah, just put
right
we just put your hand up so we can know that because everybody's got their hand up that's gonna speak. So
Copy that. I'll do so.
all right, let me go ahead and get to Sassy. Sassy, go ahead and unmute your mic. You there, Sassy?
Hey,
Is she?
I was up here before Saturday.
No, Sassy was up here first. No, Sassy.
Lord, my bad.
I was on two phones.
Oh, you double dipping. Oh,
He's a blessing. I don't think you all can hear me.
I can hear you.
Testing.
Can you hear me? Sassy, can you hear me?
Exactly. Can you hear her phone be janky? Might want to just drop.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
All right, I'll drop. You want me to drop and come back?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't hear Newstoter right back.
Yeah.
It just drop down.
I'll drop and
Drop
come
down.
back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. While Sassy is dropping, Professor, go ahead and we'll get you. And then when she comes back up, and we'll get her. Go ahead, Professor.
Hey, what's up, Newstoter? Hey, look here. Is Sister Rilla? Is she up here? I can go ahead and let her go. She was the next person.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let's get Rel up here.
Okay, go ahead, Rilla.
Thank you, Professor. Shout out to the space, and shout out to the room and to the family. To all the melanated people in here. It's been very interesting just sitting back and listening because all of us, I think, have some experience even with when it comes to immigrants and it's not just melanated immigrants. And good, bad, or indifferent, I will say that there's always this level of ostracizing that they do with Black Americans. They make it a point to, talk to us as if like we have no language, no culture. It's almost as if we're invisible. But then when you turn around and you look at them emulating the culture or emulating, the way that we talk and how we move, it's interesting because then you wonder why they bother to even want to be around us or move into our neighborhoods outside of, white America, or not just white America, but predominantly other cultures that don't even want them in their communities. But we seem to not have a problem with it until it's time for, us to be counted when they want to talk about criminality or they want to talk about who's more educated or try to pit people against each other. I remember when I moved into my new neighborhood and, trying to kind of, learn the business, build business networking and stuff. And I went to a braider who was, she was from Ghana. And I said, hey, I would love to partner with you or maybe, think about renting a space out, to set up my salon to work out of. And she just was like, no, in a sense. But then you think about how like the place was empty. It was only her and another braider in there. But I've seen that not just here in Virginia, but I've seen it in Maryland. I've even gone down to Atlanta, and you can tell just the difference in how Black Americans are even treated, even in an industry where the beauty and barber industry wouldn't be what it is without the Negro culture developing it into what it is. And so other people, get to benefit and build off of us while we literally don't even get the same reciprocity. So, and then we're looked at as, oh, you're lazy, you're this, that, and the third, and it's not that. Other groups build networking communications amongst each other, and they ostracize Black Americans until they need a check balance.
I heard, I think it was Tress talk about, I know he was referencing Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us song, when he was saying, well, you got somebody out here saying that they're not like us. Well, it's not a lie, because we're talking about an area of life where my family has never, my parents has never, God rest my mother's soul, has never said, oh, don't talk to anybody that's from Africa, and don't talk to anybody that's from another country that's melanated, or, or something like that. Now, she'll warn me about white folks and, people that practice supremacy, but it was never like a targeted thing about, oh, don't talk to these people because they're not like us. It was only always the opposite. And the crazy thing is, I'm from Inglewood, California, and I know for sure immigrants are heavily in the city and embraced. So much so that even Mexicans is embraced, and they was literally genociding Black people out of their homes and stuff. So when you talk about people having a problem with Black Americans, and then we talk about issues that we go through and have been going through, I can appreciate Black Pressure's point when he said you have a group that won, their freedom, but still had to turn around and pay the same people that were also here in this country, that also participated in the bondage of this country. I brought up the Revolutionary War on one of the posts I made, because people oftentimes conflate the Haitian, well, at the time, I guess they were the soldiers who came over to fight with the French against the British, that as if they came over to fight to end slavery here during the Revolutionary War, and that's not the case. They weren't fighting to end slavery. They were fighting along the same people that were oppressing them to help win, for territory and stuff here. So when you look at the culture of how other groups align with white supremacy here in this country, it's almost like history is repeating itself. And then we keep seeing it over and over again. And the moment we try to have a conversation about the impacts of what we're seeing in modern times, people want to try to belittle or minimize the conversation around the historical records and how it's impacting us today when it comes from the descendant community. If you don't have the narrative and you've been fed the wrong information, you're doomed to repeat the same behaviors. And that's what we're seeing. Trouble was spot on. Original was spot on. You see it in real time, even in the debate. Neither Kamala or Trump were trying to position themselves to actually have a discussion to talk about the issue and talk about how the economy impacts Black Americans, how the economy impacts Black Americans and others. We're never included in the conversation. We're only used as tools or a vehicle to talk about others and prop up their oppression, because it's like their oppression is not beefed up enough, so they use our story without wanting, or without the ability, without the means of wanting to acknowledge who they're talking about. Let me be real plain with my words. When you just use our story as a vehicle to prop up other groups' issues and not acknowledge that for hundreds of years, as they like to use, we've never had a repair. And when you hear us talk about reparations, and I saw that video with Marcel and the gentleman in the video, I think with the Green Party, he was saying that, Black Americans want a handout from their white master. You want to be begging. And to me, I'm thinking to myself, and the world learned their revolutionary voice from Black Americans, but because we held on to it. We've passed down the use of our voice and the strength of our souls and the pain that we continuously face to fight for freedom of bondage. That is our mind. That is our physical being. That is even the fight to just stay connected with one another. As much as people still have their little gender wars, Black Americans, we stay wanting to connect with our men and our women together and our families. We can talk about it. We don't have to play and cosplay like Byron Donald did in our face, because we actually live it. So at the end of the day, to me, my message to the immigrants who believe that we have some sort of hatred, it's not hatred. It is straightening. It is the correction of narratives. It is the righteousness of you understanding that you don't know how to speak repair. You don't know how to speak unity and healing. So if you don't know how to do it, allow the Negro, allow the people who have the freedman tag on them still to teach you something that would actually allow this vehicle to move. I'm not remiss that we're going to have to somehow trade and do dealings and build an economy around the situation we live in. But I'm also not a fool to believe that everyone wants to see us win. And so, as my father would say, you don't take with nickels, but you also don't have to treat everybody as if they're your foe. And I'll end there.
All right. Thank you, Rella. The Black Vanguard said he's been requesting, but I don't see him in the space anywhere. Y'all see him up in here?
Yeah, he hit me in the DM too. I don't see you up here, bro. I got it. Go ahead.
I don't see him.
Yeah, I don't see him.
Yeah, I don't see him.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Let me get the sassy Black Vanguard. We get a chance to get you in here. I don't see you, but we'll try to get you up in here. Oh, wait. Hold on, sassy. Is this this Negro last time that was selling out in here? Jahir? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's him.
I'm not trying to hear you, dude. I don't.
Jahir gotta get out of here.
Jarir, whatever the hell his name is. He was talking to
Jahir
hella.
gotta get up out of here.
Y'all know all of them. I'm so happy. Y'all know her.
Let me go ahead and get sassy. Sassy, go ahead, and then we're gonna get to Ayon, and I'm gonna get to you, Apia, after that as well too.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
To L's, no taxation as one of the oldest in the group, but just everybody. I heard, I'm not sure, but I heard Frankie Beverly passed last night.
Oh, he did pass. Let me, because I didn't even mention it. Let me say rest in peace to James Earl Jones and Frankie Beverly. Thank you.
Oh yes.
And Rich Homie Quan.
Rich Homie Quan too.
Okay. So I just wanted to get that out. Frankie Beverly together. We are one. He spoke truth and he spoke prophetically with that. We are one. Black Americans are one. Okay? Let me get that clear. Now, Black people hating on immigrants is a lie, and the truth is not in that statement. It's a lie, and the truth is not in that statement. Now, when you come against us and speak vile and equal to the builders, the founders, the prophets, the makers, creators of this nation, push back. Oh, yes. And we demand respect. May not get it, but I tell you what, we demand it, and no, it will show up in our talents. It will show up in our abilities. We're in. I don't care if you don't like it. We're etched in stone. Our footprint is on this soil. We won't got nowhere to go. We can't be deported. See, that's right. So you can not like the producers because we are who we are. We are who God created. You can't deny it. So it doesn't matter. You say we're hating on you. No, you're not going to disrespect us. Okay? And put us down. Because, see, we didn't sleep. We didn't tuck our tail. We stood up. Systematic racism. We stood and fought. That's right. Indeed. I was at work today, sitting outside. A big black pickup truck drove by with a gigantic Mexican flag. Now, what kind of sense does that make? You're in America, but you're flying a Mexican flag. Why aren't you in your country? Huh? It doesn't make sense. Okay? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't. You know? And then they complain because, you know, like Black national anthem of things that represent our Black culture. You know, the flag. I believe we have our own ethnic flag, right? And so, you know, we are who we are. Okay, it's not going to change. And I was surprised that at the National Football League game, they played the national anthem. I was just like, what?
Like national anthem.
And what you gonna do about it? You ain't gonna do nothing. That's right. They know who we are. They know exactly who we are. Right? I'm landing. I don't want to be repetitive. I do apologize.
No
I watched the debate.
Nope, I thought you was landing. I'm sorry.
Last night.
Your phone breaking back up, Sassy.
Man, that train phone is horrible.
I'm landing. I'll just land. I want to see if I had anything else. Okay, so I said enough. And I land, and God bless everybody. I'm going to drop to the so God bless everybody. Everybody has been speaking the truth. Everybody's been speaking the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Come on, somebody. Good night.
Good night.
Amen, Sister Sassy.
Thank you, Sassy. We appreciate it. When Sassy drops, I'm going to bring up the next week at Black Vanguard. We don't see you up in here. We want to bring you up in here. So if we get a chance, we're gonna bring you up. If I see you, we're gonna definitely bring you up here. But I don't even see you up in the space, man. So you know, I don't have an issue bringing you up. Let me go ahead and get to Aeon. We got Aeon. Then we got Apia. This ought to be good with Apia up here. And then you got we're gonna get back to you, Zizo as well too. So we're gonna get it back. We get the hands back around as well too. But Aeon, how you doing tonight? Let me get real quick, Aeon, before you get in. Let me give a shout out real quick to Simply Rick. Thank you for the donation. Go ahead, Aeon. How you doing tonight?
Hey, peace and blessings to the host and both of the co-hosts. Doing okay.
How you doing?
Doing okay. I'm just getting off of work, so I'm not going to take up too much space because from what I've heard thus far, everything has been said that overall needs to be said. And I say that because just in the last 3 weeks, our people have seen the systematic undermining from people that say and preach this unity stuff and this Pan-African stuff. And I've been waiting in these past few weeks, whether it's these reparation task force, politicians that are, first-gen immigrants commenting on reparations and stuff. Even this group that we just discovered, Talon and I, this Rev communist, ultra communist group that put up these inflammatory, racist ass flyers up in Chicago, trying to bully our people and put a muzzle on our people in regards to them expressing their grievances about immigration. From what I even saw in that video, there was no name calling. They came out professional, but they was not playing around. And I'm just gonna tell folks, like I said, I have family that, my older sister is married to a Haitian. My nephew is part Haitian and stuff. Luckily, the folks that I'm around here in Central Florida are on code. But the stuff that I've been hearing in these spaces from people that profess that they are Pan-African and God knows what else, it's just not adding up and translating into real life, because basically what you are hearing is people are getting tired of people running interference in our affairs. It's kind of like somebody getting in the line of fire. You got your scope aimed on the target, and these MFers are acting like willing kamikazes, getting in the way of us taking our shot at this government. And I'm really getting tired of seeing that. And I'm tired of hearing the dang on conflation. I am tired of the excuses. I've lived overseas. And the one thing, even when my dad was stationed over in Bermuda, even after the base closed and he went back to work with the Bermudian government, never once did my father interfere in their political affairs, even when things came up with the United States. And I am sick and tired of hearing this excuse, this sorry ass, Newstoter, because for 3 weeks I've been seeing this behavior, and I've been wanting these same individuals to isolate and call this stuff out, and to really examine why we are reacting. We're not a people that just go around hating people. I mean, like Newstoter had eloquently said, we are the most welcoming, even to our detriment, of people. I mean, you could go back and look at old school stuff from movies, Soul Train. I mean, we welcome everybody. And I'm looking around and I'm seeing that our people are being shitted on everywhere we go. And then we have
language, but go ahead.
All right.
Say language, but go ahead.
Yes, sir. I apologize. But I'm just like, it's like we have to compromise our humanity for their existence. And if unity is going to cost me my humanity, I don't want unity with folks like that. I just don't. I'm willing to work with people that are respectful and willing to work with us and respect our culture. I think Ms. Welson said it best a few weeks ago in another unity space. One of the quintessential things that has gotten on her nerves is the whole thing around Juneteenth. That is the clearest example of the viciousness that we've been seeing. And, Talon and I, we've always been, played up the middle and neutral when it even comes to immigration. But just in these last few weeks alone, or last month, especially after last week, what we've seen these Pan-Africans and immigrants doing at these reparations task force, you can't explain that away. I'm just not willing to hear that anymore. You don't interfere with the political situation going on with a native population, and I'm not talking about indigenous, this, that, and other. That's a common term. I have to say that and give that disclosure because people get all crazy when they hear Black people even talk like that nowadays. But I grew up overseas, and like I said, my dad worked alongside with the Bermudian government. Never once he interfered in their politics. He didn't act as if he was a superior overseer of them, telling them what is going on. You don't even see us interfering with what's going on in Burkina Faso. Why? Because those people are intelligent enough to see the residuals on the ground and understand what the heck is going on in their country. They didn't go to Black America to seek their approval. Again, people are getting in the line of our sight. We got our sights on this government, and you guys keep on getting in the middle of the scope. Get out the way. If you're not willing to rock with us and stand with us fully and stop this interfering stuff, get out the way. Literally, get out the way. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at, and I'm going to land there.
All right. Thank you, Aeon. Black Vanguard say he updated his phone, but I still don't see him up in here. Y'all see him, DJ, Professor? Is he requesting? Did y'all see him?
I don't think to the next person. We still working.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm literally looking at the Black Vanguard. He is here. He's down there somewhere. I'm looking at him.
I don't.
Hey, news, real quick. Look, real quick news. Everybody go to the Purple Pill. I posted a little article there. With some Malcolm X tried that. Hey, yeah, we all Black brother stuff, and see where it got him. But it should be the first thing that pop up in the Purple Pill.
All right. Aeon, I'm going to drop you down real quick and bring up a new speaker and get a chance you come back up here. So let me go ahead and I'm trying to get as many speakers up here. I see a bunch of people requesting and stuff like that. The spaces, the thing has been packed, guys. So when we do free it up, we're bringing people up. So if we missed you, it's not intentionally, but at times we're having so many people up and we can't get to you, but it's not intentionally. But if you do come up here, you do need to speak. You do need to speak. So don't just hold the space up because we're trying to get all the people that haven't had a chance to speak. I'm going to get the new speakers first, then we're going to go back around to the ones who spoke before. Let me go ahead and get to let me go ahead and get to Apia. Apia, what's going on with you tonight?
Yes, sir. I'm doing pretty well. What's good? What's good?
Nothing much. It's been a little hot minute up here. So what's going on with you? I know you saw the title of the room tonight, and you are immigrant, and Zizo he's gonna be up next as well too. So I wanted to go ahead. Well, actually, I'm gonna get before I get to, well, Zizo's been waiting a minute, so yeah, I'm gonna get to Zizo too, and then I'm gonna get to the other new speakers. But go ahead, Apia. How you doing tonight?
God has been grateful. The ancestors on my side. I will go straight to the point. Newstoter, I believe that you are highly intelligent, and therefore, when somebody says, "Oh, we don't engage in your politics," right? Somebody like you'll be looking at the person like, "What?" The United States government is almost in the business of every country in this world, especially in Africa. They are extremely in our politics. So if you come out here and you be saying, "Why are you in our government?" I don't want to call it ignorance, but I'll pardon you. Second of all,
I didn't say that the United States government didn't engage in other people's politics. That wasn't me.
No, I'm not addressing you.
Okay.
The lady that spoke
came
and exhibited that high level of ignorance. Second of all, why are you flying your flag? Listen, travel and see, people fly their flags everywhere. American flag is flown everywhere that you find Americans living. Nobody complain about it. Probably you've not traveled far and wide. So I'll pardon you out of ignorance again. Thirdly, education. You talk about scholarship. Listen, scholarship is not given to fools. I can promise you that for a fact. You have to be intelligent. You have to earn it. It's not for free. You have to burn the candle, steady. Let your brain work till no more.
Kamala Harris has a degree.
Hold on, Black Pressure. Everybody stay on your microphone. Go ahead, up here.
Okay. Therefore, when you see somebody earning a scholarship, salute that person because that person has worked for it. He saved, he sacrificed, he's worked the brains out to get it. And let me tell you something. These HBCUs, right, they are advertising all over the world, especially in Africa. Africa is not begging HBCUs. No, they are advertising. If you pass this, if you get this, you do what, on and on and on. Above that, those that want to come here, they pay full fees. They pay full fees. It's not handed to them. They're not special. Special coming from Africa. They're not special, you know it. So what is it about, they're giving them scholarship to see if it's just something they walked in and said, all right, you might be the slowest African, yes, go and get this and walk in. Fourthly, let me say this. Look, the United States makes almost $1 billion a year from application of visas on the continent. The United States make a profit of almost $1 billion a year from the application of visas. At the end of the day, less than 10% get it. At the end of the day, less than 10% get it. Unlike other Europeans and other Asians, whatever. We don't even get a refund. We are exploited to the core. We don't complain. You don't know what we go through. And you say we come out here and they give us money for what? Businesses? Where? Show me an African that says, when I got here, Chase Bank called me and said, you just got here? Well, this is your money. Go set up your business somewhere. Show me one of them. Just show me one of them. See, talk is cheap. Talk is just cheap. Everybody want to come here, want to sound like they know something, but technically you flawed, you slow. 99% of the argument made here are made from slow folks out here. They can't provide any hardcore evidence to support any of them. Last but not the least, I'll say this. Listen, Black Americans, the real Black Americans, they're not hitting on immigrants. No, they're going about their business. They are just going to, if you get off this app, any African American you meet or Black American you meet is going about his or her business, doing what he has to do to survive. He's not worried about what some disappointed folks out here talking about. Nobody's worried about it. So guess what? Look, it was reparation. It's political season. The immigration is a big deal. The politicians want to latch on it. They are looking for the slow folks to do their bidding. They found one. They are using them. Right after election, immigration is dead. It's going to be another topic. Guess what? They'll look for other folks to support or go against the system. Hopefully they don't find the same guys again. But it looks like there's always a consistent place where you can find some folks to play those games. So we look at some of you guys as victims. We just victims playing to, pandering to the politicians who will give you absolutely nothing, like they ain't going to give me nothing. That's the bottom line. Africans come here, they struggle on their own. They work hard on their own. Their support comes from their homes in Africa. When I'm broke, I got to call back home. Anybody, listen, I have to call my African friends here, my African family here, that, I need support, I need this. That's what we do out here. No white person in the middle flying us money. The worst case scenario, you go back home where you came from. So what are you talking about? Like, let it look like we come
they
out
send
here.
deodorant back here too. They send y'all deodorant over here too.
Hold on, everybody. Let him finish up. And I tell everybody, don't.
Bro, let me drop down real quick too.
You got to drop down. Okay.
Yeah, just drop me down.
All right.
What kind of deodorant did they send back over here to y'all?
Hey, Professor, let him go ahead and finish up. Hey, everybody, like I said before, let people speak. Don't interrupt them. Go ahead up here and finish what you got to say. So
And I'll tell you in conclusion, the Africans that I know, they are focusing on how to be the best AI technical person, be the pharmacist, be the marketer, be the manager of this organization, set your own business, build a hospital, schools back home, etc. That's what we're focusing on. We're not focusing on all these things you're talking about. It brings absolutely nothing. And we're thinking about raising our children to be more better and more competitive than us, to go against the Asians who are coming in strong. So you probably may want to get out of the way. If you ain't about that time, nobody has time for slow folks. I promise you. And you'll be run over when you cross any person that is about his bag or chasing what the dreams are. Get that thing straight. Don't feel important when you're not. You're not even.
Hey, they charge y'all for that Sally Struthers rights. How much?
I don't know why, like my speakers are coming off of the microphone when I asked them nicely when the space started to go ahead and let people talk and go ahead and let them get their point out. And then you can go ahead and we're going to get to you. These are our usual speakers too. Let them go ahead and talk. I mean, you don't have to agree with them. Just let them we're just going ahead and let him finish what he has to say, and then we're going to go ahead and get to you. Go ahead, Apia, and get ready to land your plane so we can go ahead and get the next speaker.
I'm almost landing. So you're not really important. I promise you. You're not. Okay? We're not even thinking about you. When we see you, we'll help you. If you're not ready to be helped, get out of the way. And also culture. Nobody's ready to throw away their own culture and accept somebody's culture. I'll tell you what. My culture is my native tongue. I'm not ready to let go of my language. My native language. The kente cloth is mine. The chieftaincy is mine. The traditional beads is mine. The food is mine. I'm not throwing it away for something I don't even know what it is. So I stick with my culture. You stick with your culture. All right? And let's keep it pushing and be respectful. Coming after Africans, you don't have the muscle to do so, I promise you. You don't have the resources. You don't have the capacity. You will just be run over. After supremacists, how hard they still find it in dealing with Africans. You? No. No. You? No. When I'm calling Nigerians that I need barrels of oil or something, what you bringing me? That you think you're important? Man, get a life. Thank you.
Apia,
Apia,
Apia, you do realize you're saying barrels of oil and stuff like that, and just so we can put this in layman terms, you do understand that Black America's GDP is bigger than any GDP on the continent of Africa, right?
Well, GDP is not a totality of the asset of a country, so that it doesn't even for me.
Well, I mean, but GDP, if the higher your GDP is, the better your income and every life expectancy and all the other stuff, that plays a part into it as well too. Like the United States GDP isn't like 50th in the world. It's the top. It's the top in the world. So that's why a lot of people want to come to the United States because of the actual the economy and everything like that. So I'm just saying that I know you just made the remark about the barrel of oil and this and that or whatever, but if we're just being honest right here, like I say, Black American GDP, there's not, out of the 54, 55 countries on the continent of Africa, none of the GDPs are higher than Black America. And we're a nation within a nation, but we're not technically a country. So, that it is what it is. But I'm not, because I know there's other people that want to speak as well too and respond to what you said. So I'm gonna let you, matter of fact, I'm gonna give and DJ, I sent you the co-host invite, so I don't know if you got that, because that's the only way I can bring you up, because the slots are filled. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let Z.I. Zo go, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get to some of the other speakers as well too. So I know people want to respond to you up here, so appreciate you coming up here. Z.I. Zo, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, everybody? So first and foremost, I want to bring up, when you asked me earlier about was my mom or my parents, did they ever ask anything like that, or did they ever say, to stay away from Black Americans? Yes, she did, but because you only asked me about Black Americans. And so I only answered that part. But she told me the same thing about Hispanics, white people, any other group of people. But she would always tell me, you stick with your own group of people, Haitians. Stick with Haitian people, or or stuff like that. Now, as she got older, that mindset kind of went away. But that's the kind of thing she taught me. Now, I'm not gonna say she wasn't wrong, because we lived in the hood. And everywhere around us, we had we had crime happen all around us, and for the most part, it was Black Americans that we would see do stuff like that. Now, as for me, I never listened to that kind of rhetoric that my mom used to tell me, because I love Black people. I love everything about Black. I went through the whole Black experience from elementary all the way up to college. I went to college in Alabama, in the deep South. And so I saw a lot of stuff, But, just because she would tell me stuff like that doesn't mean that I actually followed suit to what she said. That's one. Secondly, Toter thinks Sassy and said something about Black Americans are not accepted, everywhere they go. But when immigrants come here, we embrace them, and I'm gonna disagree with that right there, because I spoke with an African, someone from Africa. I think she was Zimbabwean, and she lives in South Africa, and she told me South Africans, they are really prejudiced against. And Apia, I don't know if you want to agree with me or not, but she told me South Africans are very prejudiced towards other Africans. Like, if an African from another nation, whether it's Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Burkina Faso, it doesn't matter. If they try to get a citizenship, apply for citizenship in South Africa, they will be denied. But on the same hand, she told me they embrace Black American culture. The other black Africans, they don't care for them. But she told me if a white person from Europe was to come to South Africa, they would embrace that person. If a Black American came from America to South Africa, they would embrace that person. And easily they will be able to get a citizenship. They could easily get a visa to go to school. Like, Black Americans, to disagree with what you said, there are places in the world that will accept and embrace for Black Africans to come there. And then lastly, I think it was Aeon who brought it up about she saw the Mexican flag on the truck. And I also saw a video about this, about a woman in Chicago who was ranting about some Venezuelans who had like Venezuelan flags, like they were waving their flag. And I was just gonna say, like as a Haitian American, like no one could ever tell me to put down my Haitian flag. I keep a Haitian flag in the car. No one would ever be able to tell me, oh, rip that down. Like, what are you doing? This is America. Like no, like, what are you doing? Like, I would never go for that. That's just my 2 cents. I just wanted to point in. You can land me.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to say something real quick before I pass it to the speakers. Now, when I was saying that you can, I'm not talking about embracing. I'm saying that a Black American can't go to any Black nation in the country, another Black nation in the country. You can't go to Ghana. You can't go to Haiti. You can't go to Jamaica. You can't go to Kenya and access benefits that the actual native populations got. If there's scholarships set aside for Kenyans, they're not going to go ahead. They're not going to put Black Americans at the front of the line or allow Black Americans to do that. They're not going to give, if I was to go ahead and come to Kenya, any of these countries tomorrow, they're not going to provide housing and food and shelter and clothing and education and healthcare and all that kind of stuff as well, too. So, and I get what you were saying about your mom, and I think a simpler way to be looked at is how do you think Black immigrants would have made in this country if they had the same mindset, the parents, not the kids at school that might have been picking at you, this and that, but how do you think they would have made it in this country when they got to these Black neighborhoods and stuff like that, and these Black parents and the Black grown-ups would say, you know what, I don't want to have nothing to do with them. Don't help them out in the least bit. Don't give them anything. Don't provide anything for them. Let them make it on their own. Don't share anything with them whatsoever. Do you think that they would have been able to climb up as high as they did if Black Americans went ahead? Because people forget, at a time when white immigrants was coming over here, the native population of white people were constantly harassing these people, constantly telling them to go back to Europe, constantly trying to get them out, constantly trying to undermine them and everything else like that as well. You had all kind of riots and fights and stuff breaking out. So you didn't have that. And I'm not saying you didn't have a skirmish between Black Americans and Caribbean Blacks and Africans and stuff. Nothing wide scale like you had. If you look at the movie Gangs of New York, here you got the Irish that were born in this country hating the other Irish that was migrating to this country, telling them to go back home, that you're whores and you're not welcome and stuff like that. You never had grown Black people in Miami. I'm talking about in their 20s and 30s and 40s sitting up here starting street fights and stuff right here, armed street fights with machetes and knives and everything else, brass knuckles, saying, you know what, we're going to push y'all right back on them damn boats and send you right back to them islands you came off on. You didn't have all of that. So that's what I'm talking about as well too. I'm saying that hey, there are no that when a Black American goes to if you go to Africa to one of these places, you're gonna have to have some money to survive because the economy is not set up the way it is in America. Okay, you're gonna have to. You can't go over there and say, well, you know what? I'm going to transfer my job. I'm going to get me a job. No, you got to go over there and you got to create. You got to create, and you got to have deep pockets. And we know if you go to Haiti, with the way the economy's been crushed for over 100 some years, you're gonna have to have some money on you as well too. So it's not the simple fact that hey, you know this and that or whatever. I'm just simply saying that hey, it's not the way that that people try to make it out to be and stuff like that. And like I say, Black American people talk about the minority coalition. Black Americans have been the ones that have fought for everybody, every group in this country. You've not had, and you don't have that worldwide. If we're being honest, you don't have that worldwide with Latinos fighting for Black Americans, period. You don't have Africans worldwide standing up for Black Americans over here in this country. You don't have Caribbeans worldwide standing up for Black Americans in this country. You don't, and you never have. But you have had.
You know, it's not accurate.
Yeah, that is accurate. That is accurate. You've not had whole nations. You've not had nations of Africans standing up for Black Americans doing slavery time, doing Jim Crow. No, you haven't. You haven't.
Well, we were under colonization at that time.
Well, I'm just saying, but you still were, and don't come off your mic either, but you still outnumbered the Black people over here. You weren't sitting up there saying, you know what, let my people go. You weren't saying that. And then when you did come out of colonization, you weren't trying to form this global partnership. If you were, you would have hollered at Malcolm X when he went over there. Instead, you said, hey, the Negro problem is a Negro problem. People forget about that. The Negro problem in America is the Negro problem. And that's how people, whether you want to say Black, melanated, or whatever, worldwide felt. Hey, we got problems of our own we're dealing with. You go ahead and you fight your own battles. So, I mean, if we're being honest, if we're being real here, because, hey, y'all have the resources in the land over there in the Caribbean and especially in Africa. When you guys came out of colonization, you could have been hollered. Martin Luther King had an open ear. Malcolm X had an open ear. Yet Black Panthers had an open ear. A bunch of people had open ears. And what has happened? People talk about now, 50, 60 years later, we need to come together. We need to do this. We need to do that or whatever. Could have been done this. You could have been had this coalition. This whole pursuit of Pan-Africanism could have been accomplished in one lifetime. It could have been had it. You could have been had trade partnerships going back and forth across the Atlantic Ocean. You could have had Black people going back and forming colonies, and not only Black people, but people from Brazil and the Caribbean and stuff like that, because it never happened. People, I mean, so I don't understand what people are talking about. It never materialized. Not only did it never materialize, it was never even talked about. Now we in 2019 or whatever we talk, the year of return and that kind of stuff like that. But why didn't you do that in 1988, 1975, 1970, 1990, 1997? And I'm not talking about people they'll take an example. They'll a continent with over 1 billion people. They'll tell, well, you know, we do have this tiny little fragment of people. There's 50 people over here in this country and 30 people in this country. No. So I'm not, I really don't understand that. It could have been a partnership. There was one group willing to do the partnership. One group who's always been willing to do the partnership. One group who's always had the open arms and say, hey, you know what? We all Black. You Black, I'm Black, we all Black. You had the same group tell other people who weren't Black, say, hey, you know what? You might be Asian, you might be Latino, you might be East Indian, you might be Native American, but we're all mistreated in this country. Let's come together and let's form a pack and let's do this and let's do that. The only time people talk about these packs and these minority coalitions when it's time for politics or something like that. That's the only time that becomes a real talking point. Any other time, when they're sitting up here and they're talking to the Latino caucus, is about what they can do for Latinos. When they're talking to the LGBTQ, is what they can do for them, what they can do for the Asians, all these other things, all these other groups. When they talk to black people, though, it's about, hey, how can we help you black people and everybody else that's a minority in the country? So, I mean, we have to be honest about that. And like I said, no disrespect to your mom, but I've been hearing this stuff. I'm in my 40s. And like I say, my friend over 30 years ago, close to 30 years ago, told me about how his family felt, who was Jamaican. And then another friend a few years later, over 20 some years ago, father's professor at FAMU University, a historically black college, and was an engineer professor, told me how his father felt about, and how his family felt about it. So we can sit up here and we can say that, and we can talk about, well, you got to have the grades and this and that or whatever. Yeah, you got to have grades to go to college. But those colleges that you're going to are HBCUs. They are historically black colleges. And by historically black, they mean black Americans, to be honest, to be real. So, yeah. And people talk about running us over and this and that. You may find that that's not quite as easy as you think. You may not understand how just resilient black Americans are. Ain't nobody coming over here running anything over. And I'm not trying to start any tribal beef or any wars, anything like that. But I'm just being real. Ain't nobody coming over here running the damn thing over. And that includes the white folks, the Latinos, the Hispanics, the Asians, the other black groups as well, too. Nobody's running anything over right here. I'm being real. Nobody. So if we even got that notion in our mind, let's go ahead and get rid of that now, because that ain't even healthy for you. That ain't about to go down. So I'm just letting you know that straight up. And I don't mean, like I say, I'm not trying to, I would love to see black unity globally, but we don't have that. And it's not that it can never be, but at this point in time, it's not that way. And it's not because of black Americans. And black Americans are not hating immigrants. And black Americans have not signed any legislation to harm immigrants or anything like that as well, too. Black Americans have championed immigration, even when black Americans like Booker T. Washington and some of the others, W.B. Du Bois, them weren't huge fans of it. People still champion it or whatever. So, it's not to that point right there, guys. Because we got a lot of people requesting to try to get up here. So I'm going to try to get as many people up here. Jareer, I'm tired of seeing your face up here, bro. I'm tired of your thumbs down, and I'm tired of hearing you. So I don't want to see you no more. I'm just going to go ahead. I just went ahead and blocked this dude. I'm tired of seeing this dude's ugly face up here. Let me go ahead and get to
Hey, just real quick, man. Hey, Black Vanguard, I don't know, bro. This might be over with. I don't see you. I did everything that was shut my phone. You ain't in here, bro.
And you know what it is, y'all? It's a possibility somebody got that joker blocked. That's why we can't see him.
Let me go ahead and get to is the Atman up in here? Because I know the Atman, he was up.
I am, and I'm happy to speak, but Boykin and No Taxation were ahead of me, but I'm not running the room, so how do you want to do this?
Okay, I thought you was ahead of them, but okay, mute your mic real quick. Let me go ahead and No Taxation spoke already, so I'm trying to get to the people. You haven't spoke, Boykin hasn't spoke. Okay, mute your mic real quick. Mute your mic. Yeah. Let me go ahead and I'll go ahead and get the Boykin, and then I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Boykin.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me on the stage tonight. Peace and blessings to the host, co-hosts, and everybody on the stage, and to the guests. I'm just going to get down and dirty with it. All right? I live in a city where we have first-generation people from African countries, Caribbean countries, all right? I sit on a zoning board, and I'm not ashamed of saying this about being a member of the zoning board in the municipality in which I live. I've been on the zoning board now a solid decade. Apia, I'm going to categorically eviscerate all of your claims by saying this. I don't see very many Africans applying for building permits simply because of the tax structure and the economic structure will not allow first generation immigrants or their kids to buy, rent, or sell property. And that's the way it's set up throughout the United States, period. Now, you do have some people who will pool their resources, but they gotta have a sponsor here in the United States, somebody who's lived here 20, 30 years, who know the tax codes, who know attorneys, who know the zoning laws. First and second generation immigrants don't have that leverage. Not where I am. Sure, you got people who have money, but because there's so much infighting, confusion, people working against each other, you're not going to have people who build like that. Not the way Black Americans have built. And we've been builders ever since folks stepped foot on this continent. We've been building everything. So it's disingenuous for people who immigrated here for whatever reason to take away from what the builders, the architects, the engineers have done. And I want to keep it 100%. It's mostly the Asians, where I am in this part of the country, who are pooling the resources, whether it's family resources, business resources, or folks who just got their stuff together. It's the Asians who are hiring out Somalis, Eritreans, Ethiopians as fronts in convenience stores in what used to be Black communities, all right? In the 90s, when they cleared out all the foundational Black Americans, they brought in Somalis, Eritreans, Ethiopians, Ugandans, and Kenyans. Why? Because they didn't know the lay of the land, they didn't know the laws, they didn't know the cultures, and let me tell you something, they don't talk back when it comes to oppression in the laws. They're too busy trying to get in with the white people, thinking that the white people are going to protect them some kind of way. They think that they're the same mindset as these white people. No. First of all, even if they're white immigrants, they still got white skin. That's their advantage. And even the white immigrants who came here 100 years ago still have the advantage. Why? Because of white skin, family, generational wealth, and money. That's what it is. And I can tell you right now, as the only Black person on the zoning board, and I've been the only Black person on the zoning board, so don't hand me anything about, oh, well, we work hard and that gives us some leverage and some leeway. Listen, I've got people from the university, 2 premier universities in this state, trying to snuggle up to me to try to see if they can get permits for their businesses. I've got commercial real estate developers who've got 3rd generation family ties in this region snuggling up to me. And do I see any Africans trying to talk to me? Yeah, a couple of people on the county council, because they want to know why I know what I know. Are they working in conjunction with the Black businessmen and women, entrepreneurs? No, they don't want to, because they believe it's beneath them. That's the problem. We, as Black Americans, we welcome people. We teach people. We show people because of hospitality. That is our nature. All of this stuff about hating on immigrants, no, we're tired of you guys taking our kindness for weakness. We're tired of people throwing stuff in our face and acting as ungrateful people. That's what's been going on. We give you guys the advantages that we've enjoyed because we want to see our own people prosper. But we have people who take advantage of us, then turn and stab us with that rusty knife, and then teach their kids, you don't want to go over here with these people. They're criminals. You don't want to go over there with those people because they're lazy and dumb. Let me tell you something, okay? There's a world-class university called the University of Washington. Out of the 8% of black people who attend that school, only 2% are Africans or of African descent and African heritage. Guess who the other 6% are? I'm sick and tired of people skewing information to make themselves look good, and then folks such as Newstoter, the co-host, and other people here who have the knowledge and plenty of invoices to back up what they're saying and check you guys. Let me just put this nasty little tidbit out here, and then I will yield my mic. First and foremost, there is an organization with the Lutheran Church that works to bring immigrants over here from Uganda, from Tanzania, from Kenya, and they teach those people not to go around American blacks. They put these people in white areas, isolated, away from American blacks who can show them the ropes. But no, they say you don't want to go around those people. They're criminals, they're crooks, they're not to be trusted. Stay over here. And then there are nonprofit organizations that do that as well. All right. I used to work for the immigration services that when refugees came over here, we would help them get social services. And I acted as a navigator for people who literally just got off the planes. All right? Let me tell you something about the rudeness. These folks come over here not knowing the lay of the land or American culture, but when they see somebody like me, like, who are you? How can you tell us? What do you know? And I just tell them up front, first of all, this is the United States. Second of all, you're on your own. I'm at that point now. You're on your own. If you think you can navigate an anti-black country without somebody showing you the ropes, be my guest. But let me tell you something about black Americans who fought and stay fighting. You guys don't appreciate that. And I see a lot of this first and second generation immigrants, when racism slaps them up across the head and across the face, they don't know what to do. In the schools around here, you've got Koreans, you've got other Asian groups going in and attacking Ethiopian and Eritreans who are Muslim. All right? And they're not fighting back, the Eritreans and the Muslims. And you've got every right to do so, but you don't. Why? Because you don't know what to do, what to say, because you've shunned the people who can show you how to do it. I'm through with it. Okay? And that's all I've got to say. Thank you for letting me speak, and I'll drop down.
Okay, thank you. How is the Jareer dude in here and I unblocked him? How the hell is he still in here? Okay, block him.
That's a good point, man. That's a good point. I don't know how that joker did that.
Okay, block and okay, let me see how to remove this joker. I don't want to see his face anymore. Because I'm like, how the hell is he still up in here?
And yeah, and we still can't get Black Vanguard up in here, man. I don't know what the deal is with that.
I don't know what's up with Black Vanguard. We've been trying to get him up in here. Atman, go ahead and unmute because we're going to be winding this thing down. I'm trying to get out of here by 11:05. DJ's got the part 2. He's got the late night space coming up. So I'm trying to go ahead and close this thing out. So I'm going to keep everybody about 2-3 minutes. And then we're going to, so I can go ahead and hit everybody up. And then we're going to go ahead and close this thing out for tonight. I definitely appreciate it. It's been a good conversation. So thank you to everybody. I have to read this one comment though. And this is from and you know, I wasn't gonna say anything at first, but then the person, I don't know what 1 and 9 is saying, he said, Appear is just a regular in your space. Appear is not a regular space. Appear comes into space sometimes, but new listeners to your space are repelled by this anti-Black Americanism, and you giving it a platform, not a good look. Then I see him again, said, Newstoter, just because you want everybody to talk in your space, allowing the same people to come on and crap on Black Americans is not a good look. You know that Appear is going to say some anti-Black American crap, not based in reality, but you let them talk. It's not a good look. Appear comes in Tariq Nasheed's space as well, too. Tariq Nasheed lets Appear speak until he kicks him off stage or whatever. Now, are you saying the same thing to Tariq when he comes up in this space? No, you just saying this in the Newstoter space. Anybody that's been in this space knows I'm going to let you speak. That's why I tell everybody, stay on your microphone, let the person speak, and then you can go ahead and you can respond to it. Or should everybody in the space say the exact same thing and just be an echo chamber and nothing is really said or done in here? We should just all agree, all just look in each other's eyes and gaze at the moon and the stars and stuff like that and not say anything else. What Appear said, I don't agree with, but I'm letting Appear speak. And then I come and I respond to it, and I let you guys respond to it as well too. Same with the young fella Z.I.Zo. You know, some of the stuff that Z.I.Zo said, you know, I can understand some of it. I didn't agree with, and I let him know it, and I did it respectfully. And then anybody else that wants to come up here and rebuttal what he says, fine. But people sitting up here, I mean, goddamn, y'all kind of like y'all taking this stuff a little bit too far. People are going to have a difference of opinions. People are not going to always agree with you. In life, people are not going to always like you. You don't even have to do anything to you. You can walk in the building and somebody like, damn, I don't like that nigga there. Why don't you like him? Oh, I just don't like the way he looked. I don't like the way he dressed. I don't like what the clothes he's wearing. I just don't like him for whatever reason. It's something about him I just don't like. I don't care. If you come up in this space here and you want to go and have an intelligent conversation, you're respectful, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to let you raise your hand. You can talk. As long as if you're just being totally disrespectful, now I'm gonna get on you, but I'm gonna let you talk, give you a chance to go ahead and talk and say what you gotta say. And then either me, the co-host, or the other speakers in here, they're gonna say something rebuttal or whatever. That's how it is. That's what a platform is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like, well, you know what? We're gonna say the same old thing every night, and everybody's gonna agree, and this and that, and lolly. No, it doesn't work like that. Let me go ahead and get to okay, the brother must have went down. Let me go ahead and get to the @man. The @man, I know you was waiting, so let me go ahead and get to you. Like I said, we're gonna be closing out shortly, but go ahead, you got it.
Can you hear me? Because the volume is down when Borkin was talking.
Yeah, we got you. We can hear you.
All right. Regarding what Trump said during the debate, that Haitians were eating cats and dogs, etc. It's all over the internet, etc. Yeah, as though, if you know, is this a thing, a real thing? Is that what Haitians do? If you know, I'd like to hear your perspective on that, because it's not a good look for Haitians. Regarding our people being welcoming to our detriment, Aon phrased it that way. Boykin commented on it as well. When you put the needs and wants of others ahead of your own, to your detriment, that is codependency, and Black folks are known for doing that. And I'm not going to say, even attempt to say that codependency is a mental disorder, because it's not. I'll call it a personality trait, but it's something that we are guilty of. And like other issues, that's something we, including myself, need to work on. I'm just going to put that out there that, yeah, we need a little help with that, putting other people ahead of ourselves. Regarding the title, Hating on Immigrants, if wanting the illegal immigrants to go back home is hate, then I guess we do, I am. But there is a post that I put in the Purple Pill about a Haitian American saying to illegals, including the people of his own persuasion, that you need to go back home, and you need to go back home now while you got the chance, because we love our country, meaning America, and we got guns. So he was putting a strong message out there to those folks who are coming in. And the other thing is, Chicago is shutting down 3 migrant housing facilities during the month of October.
because of the decreased number of illegals coming into the country. So whether that's, let's just say it is true, has anyone noticed or heard about a decrease in immigration? Is it a lack of funding? Is their funding being shut off? And that's their reason, Chicago's reason for closing these shelters? Just, what do y'all think is going on with that? So I'll tip my hat there. Thank you.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you, Atman, as always. Go ahead, Zoka. I think that question was framed to you.
Yeah. So yeah, to answer that, actually, I do have family. So I have an aunt. Before she came from Haiti, but she's been here for probably about like 15 years now. Even to this day, she still don't even speak a lick of English. But she used to practice. I don't even know if she still do. But she did practice voodoo. And one time when I was I just graduated high school, this was back in Miami. I had a dog who we had for probably about a good year or so. One day I was about to go to work. It was me and my brother, my ex-girlfriend. I went to the backyard. We have a shed in the backyard where we keep some stuff, and we would have the dog go in there because my mom, she doesn't believe in pets being in the house. So we would keep the pet, would keep it in the shed. But one afternoon before I was about to go to work, I see my aunt and she has blood running down her mouth. I see some candles lit in the shed, and then I don't see the dog. I'm looking, I'm like, where's my dog? The dog finally comes out of nowhere, and like I said, she has blood in her mouth. But a piece of the dog's ear was missing, and after that, I went crazy. I was like, what is going on? And then and that's crazy too because I have a cousin who told me she said, hey, make sure you you watch that dog around your aunt because she's done stuff like this back in Haiti. It was just crazy to me that I actually saw that with my eyes, and so I blacked out and I just kind of I put the lady in a whole headlock, and I was like, how could you do that to my pet? So to answer his question, I'm not gonna say stuff like that doesn't happen, because it do, but to categorize a whole nation and be like, oh, this is exactly what all you guys do, I won't take that disrespect because I've never done something like that. Has there people who has done stuff like that? Yes. I will not shy away and call out my community if something is done. I won't shy away. I will call it out 100%. But to answer his question, especially with voodoo rituals, stuff like that does happen.
Hey, Zoe, not to cut you off, but I'm trying to close this thing out. So I appreciate you. Let me go ahead and get to some other speakers, but just being here, and I just want to say this, and I'm not trying to throw any salt, but in Florida, growing up in Florida, we heard things and stuff like that. And I've asked some Haitian friends and stuff about, some of the things that you were talking about, and they confirmed it as well too. So, not without trying to, I don't want to denigrate your culture, your family, or your people, anything like that. But I think most of us that's grown up in Florida, we've heard, especially if you've lived in Central or South Florida, and you've been around, you've heard certain things and stuff like that. And I know that was a different, it was a different time and era. One of my friends that was Haitian said, yeah, when our people were poor, they did what they had to do. They ate what they had to eat to survive and stuff like that on the island. So, not trying to, to denigrate your people, anything like that. But we've been hearing that stuff. And I see Tata giving the 100 up. We've been hearing that stuff, a lot of us, since we were in grade school and middle school and stuff like that as well, too. So, but shout out to you.
Please leave the bad old pretty cats alone. Please leave the bad old pretty cats alone.
Okay, Professor, we got you. Let me go ahead and get to, because we're trying to close this thing out. Let me go ahead and get to, I see we got a new speaker up here. Jake, I'm going to give you a couple minutes, and then we got to go ahead and move on. We're going to try to close this thing out shortly here.
Shout out to you, Newstoter. Peace and blessings.
Peace.
And peace and blessings to all the
Black Americans in the room. But yeah, man, are we hating our immigration? No, because immigration always hurted Black Americans. And the immigrants that's coming over here, they gotta realize that we're not gonna be a foot post or doormat for all these immigrants coming over here legally or illegally. And what we're witnessing now is a takeover of America. And America is being taken over because they're hating on Black Americans who fought, died, built, and paid the price for this country and being in this country. So, America is falling because they allow too many people to come over us and infiltrate the fabrics of this society. And I'm starting to believe, it's going to get worse, way worse before it get better. And I know within our lineage where we're going to stick together, we're going to come together, and we're going to do what we need to do for our respective families first and meet in between. Because it's written all on the wall for World War III, Civil War, everything is being written. And they flooded our communities with criminals from other countries. You know how you could tell that they did that? Because soon as they allow all these people from Venezuela to come in, their crime went down. This is a true fact. You can look this up. So no, immigration been a problem to Black Americans since the 1800s. Since they flooded the Irish terrorized Black Americans. Then the Italians, they try to war with Black Americans and take over sides of our town and everything like that. Now, the Jamaicans, the Asians, all these different ethnicities came in, and we had to teach them some act right. It's too late in day and time as we're going through a transition of power as Black Americans to where we got to be fighting these peons. We need to focus on what we need best, and that's coming together as Black American. We're going to be one, we're going to be nothing. And the Democratic Party, right, as a political base that we've been voting for the past 70 years, we got to leave that. And I'm not saying run to the Republican Party. However, I will say Trump will undo the work that the Democrats done towards our FDI in there.
All right, appreciate that, Jake. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Miss Rella. I'm gonna get to Original. I'm gonna get to No Taxation, and that's gonna be it for the speakers tonight. DJ's got a space coming up. Rella, real quick, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you got it.
Thanks, Newstoter. And thank you for allowing me to speak one last time. So, Apia, definitely did not use any type of data to back himself up. And at the end of the day, Akon is always going to be the eyesore that I can look to point to what a grifter, a true grifter, and someone who cosplayed Black Americans and got what he wanted, and then took his remittances back to his country. He couldn't have built what he needed with his country because his country was not trying to infuse building his career so that he could actually stand 10 toes full chested. So essentially, it took Black Americans and our culture for him to actually do what he needed to do and then take himself back to Sierra Leone. I believe that's where he's from. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But at the end of the day, I will say that that's all you see immigrants doing. And Apia did say that if I got stuff I got going on, or if I need money, I have to call home because they have a network that they take care of one another. However, they pull resources from the communities that they live in, but they never return those resources to build the communities that they move into. And then someone that talks down about his own women, and degrade his own women, I would take what he's saying like a grain of salt, because he strikes me as somebody that would run to white people, especially how he was so degrading about talking about us, even in this space. Like, who calls a group of Black Americans almost essentially ignorant and dummies because of we are able to identify and point out the disparities and the issues that actually plague us in our own country. And then you would never see them go to any other country where there's melanated people and tell those people who they are and what they can and cannot do. That's the reason why they're getting kicked out of Dubai. That's why they're getting kicked out of all these other areas and countries. China's trying to kick them out because it's almost as if like they have no respect. And I'm not for land.
All right.
And I'll say I'm land, and I'm gonna say that in this country, when it comes to, and this is to Aeon's point, because her and oh my gosh, I forgot the lady that was up here. They were on point. There are things that actually you see people actually getting into and blocking us from getting our just due. California's reparations task force, the 2 bills that did not get passed, it was because of the simple fact that Black Americans who practice Pan-Africanism wanted to uphold and disembowel the lineage vote because they wanted 2 bills that did not have the words lineage in it to include other groups of people. So they upheld 2 bills that would have been specifically for the repair of the descendant.
I got to get you to land, Rella.
Yes, sir. So that to me tells a lot about the war between immigrants and Black Americans, and not a war in a sense of like murder or anything like that, but it's a war of.
Okay, let me get you to land it, Rella. I got it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
It's a cognitive dissonance that they have, and you can tell.
You're still talking.
I'll land it. I'll finish up and do this, please.
Okay, thank you, Rella. Go ahead, Original. You got it.
Yeah, so I just want to say this, and so people will really, maybe these other immigrants will understand. You know, Black Americans, we just gonna have to band together. As John Edward Clark said, I know he meant it in a different way. We ain't got no friends. But when Rella said earlier something about this Green Party person said that we are regarding reparations, saying that we are begging. See, people have asked me numerous times why I don't join the Green Party, why I don't support the Green Party, and I would tell them the reason I won't support the Green Party because if Black Americans were to pile into the Green Party and make it successful, now they claim to have reparations on their platform, but if we made them a viable party, they flip on us and turn as soon as they became viable and act like we don't exist, just like these other 2 parties. That's why we don't do it. See, that's not how we operate. Just like, and I'm gonna land with this right here. When Donald Trump called parts of Africa and Haiti S-hole countries, I think it was the president of Nigeria, still came here and met with Donald Trump. Now, Black Americans, if we had came here, we were going to have a conversation. Why are you talking about people with black skin like this? But yet, they continue to come here because, see, when has any African nation ever advocated for Black America or asked this government, why are you treating our brothers and sisters this way? No one has done this for us. But we're out there always putting our boots on and going out there stomping for everybody else. Well, I'm not sorry, but it's time to do some self-stomping now, and I'll land.
All right, thank you, Original. Go ahead, No Taxation. I'm gonna let you say something real quick, then we're closing it out.
Okay, I'm gonna be quick for you too. And thanks for the space. This was a good space. I hope the young man Z.I.Zo was able to hear us, what we're saying in a different light. Z.I.Zo, it's the issue with us is we have to fight for ourselves, and so we can't afford to do anything for anybody right now. And I think that's what if you didn't hear it like that, I'm gonna say it like that so that you just can understand brass tacks. That's the first thing. The second thing is, child, why probably came out here talking about he gonna call Africa and he gonna call Nigeria and he gonna ask the peoples for 800 barrels of oil like they finna bring him some oil and he gonna have it sent to the refinery like he know where a refinery is, like he got keys like that. Child, you over there, you know you over there laying up with a white woman living off of her. Get on out of here with that, Apaya. Stop coming in here like you so big time. You ain't big time. Baby, you
ready for a green card.
Listen, hey, you know they call Nigerians. Europeans call Nigerians.
They may not send no tax, save it for the next space.
Well, hold on. Europeans call Nigerians. Let me talk. Europeans call Nigerians the roaches of the world. That's for a reason. And they're owned by the Chinese in America now. So that's what that is. Anyway, that's the first thing. So I want to throw this out here because it just happened. It just got written about. I sent it over there to you, News. The Tulsa verdict. What happened was the team of attorneys asked for requested another hearing to say, no, we think you got it wrong. Let us come back and revisit this again. And the court said no. And so this is why we fight harder. I sent you the article, Newstoter. This is why we fight. The last thing I want to say is, and this is for the young man because he didn't listen to his mother, which is a good thing. And he's able to come into the room and hold his own with us. And that's another good thing. Black Americans, Negroes, freedmen, foundational Black Americans, we are the only people in the world, Zizo, that go up against the greatest war machine the world has ever seen. Nobody has a better war machine in the world than us. We are the war machine for the world. That's why this country is so violent. It was bred in violence, okay? It erupted in violence. And that's because white folks came here. And when you hear people disparaging Black people, other melanated people, Black people, they don't go up against the greatest war machine the world has ever seen. They don't do that. They don't go up and fight against the most supremacist system the world has ever seen. Hitler came to the United States of America first to see how we were being treated, and then he took that back to Germany. See, we have always been the ones that I can't hear it, News.
I was gonna say let's wrap it up pretty quick. No text.
I'm wrapping it up right now. We have always been the ones that the world looks to. That's why South Africans love us, because we were on their side, you see, during apartheid, and they back in apartheid, so you know. But anyway, I wanted to say that we're a unique people in that we are the only people besides the indigenous people to the country that can really call themselves Americans. Everybody else can say they're Israeli American, they're Ghanaian American, they're African or Nigerian American. We don't have that. We just are Americans, and we are the backbone of this country for what's moral and right. And this country is the one that sits on the hill. It's the leader of the free world, and that's because of us. And I'm going to leave it there.
All righty. Thank you, No Taxation. DJ and Professor, they have the late night space coming up, guys. So make sure y'all go ahead and attend that. We will be back next Monday. So definitely check us out then. DJ, Professor, and the whole crew will be there for the late night space, guys. So definitely go ahead and check them out. I appreciate everybody coming through, speaking tonight. So thank you very much. We'll be back, like I say, next Monday. Hopefully the spaces will be just as good as it was this week and the weeks before. So thank everybody for coming out, speaking, supporting everything else. Thank you for those who donated. I'm going to go ahead and let DJ and Professor go ahead and kick it in, and we're going to go ahead and close this thing out. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
Late night space, everybody. Late night space.
Tell us gonna tell it, y'all.
Yeah.